Ooh. Shalom. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Hit the like button when y'all come in the building. We're going to start off the video. Hold on, let me see if I can find this one. All right. Begin with a little testimony.
Let me just reveal some things. First of all, is that the Jews who were brought in Israel, most of them are white. Not most of them, almost all of them are white, including me. I was brought in Israel from a country which is called Bulgaria. It's a European country, and I can tell you that in every European country there are Jews, and there is so-called organization, Jewish Agency, which is trying to take the Jews to Israel. If you track this organization, you can find out that this is not an Israeli organization. This is an American organization. Jewish Agency is an American organization which has the exclusive right to decide who is Jewish and who is not on this planet, and who to be taken to Israel and who's not. Now, if you do research, you will find out that in Africa, in Black Africa, they're looking for Jews only in Ethiopia. They bring Jews only from Ethiopia. And I can tell you by knowing a lot of people, Ethiopian Jews here in Israel, that they're treated very badly, very badly. And many of them commit suicide because they cannot take it. So they come from some place, Ethiopia, they don't have much there, but they live decent life. And when they come here and try to be humiliated and so on, some of them cannot even take it. Now, what I'm trying to say is that why from each white country this Jewish agency is trying to bring Jews, and when it's about Black Africa, they're going to Ethiopia, and this is where they stop. The only one place. Now, because of the same thing, they're trying to do the white supremacy here. They try to bring white guys here and to take the supremacy over Arabs, which are the local citizens, and over blacks, which are so far they're only the Ethiopian Jews. Now, what I'm trying also to say is that another question is why America needs Israel. There is no oil like in other Middle Eastern countries. There's nothing they can be attracted to. But why do they do all these things? Why do they invest money, bring white people and so on, when they build their system of white supremacy, just like in America they build in Israel? Why? And I can tell you why. Because the true Jews, according to the Bible, you can check it in the Bible, you can read Job 30:30 and some other places, they have never been white. They have been people of color. And they have not stopped in Ethiopia. They were in Ethiopia, Sudan, and they have settled in West Africa. From West Africa, they have been taken as slaves to America. Brothers and sisters, blacks of America, it's you. You are the true Hebrews. You are the true Hebrews from the Bible. America gonna do everything, gonna invest as much money as it has, gonna fight as much wars as they can, gonna invite as much weapons as they can just to hide this away from you. Gonna take Israel, gonna bring white people here and to tell you these are the Jews, gonna kill you, gonna kill Arabs, gonna mistreat white people like this guy, just to tell you this lie, that you are nobody and we are the Jews with all the history and so on. It has been deleted, your history. You don't know who you are. Don't forget about it. This is why America has been taking your history away, never to find out that it's all about you. I'm telling you this, please. I don't ask you to come to Israel and to start a revolution. I'm just asking you to start thinking this way, to believe me a little bit, because I'm living in Israel and I'm part of this injustice. I really believe that people like me and you, we can bring the justice back. Thank you. Let me just.
All right. Shalom.
How about Shem? How Shabbarakathon?
How about Shabbarakathon? You know what? with all this, blacks ain't the real Jews, and when we say it's racist, you know what I'm saying? I think I want to hear somebody else say that again. You know what I'm saying? Let's listen to one more before we get started. Let's just see what somebody else got to say. So that was an Israeli, right? An actual Jewish man, right? Who just admitted that we the Israelites. Let's see what good old redhead Esau got to say about it, right?
All right, so this video is about black people and how they're actually superior, not just physically and all this and genetically and all that stuff, but actually they're the chosen people. Not all black people, but a lot of them, and even I could say, I don't know if I could say most of them, but many of them. Specifically the people that are living in America, and specifically the people who have been sent all over the earth on slave ships. Those people are superior, even in the Most High's eyes himself, because those people are the Israelites. And there's a scripture that says, not only it says if you bless them, you'll be blessed, but there's also one that says you have to cling to them or you can't even be saved. So for one, that means acknowledging who they are, obviously. And for two, it means reading even their own scriptures, because these scriptures are not for everyone. They're for them, and if you want to follow after their God, of course he is the God of all, but he's not all people are his people. You see how that works? So if you want to even be saved, you need to get in line, and you need to step behind his chosen people. Okay? And the reason that this earth is gone behind racism, is because we live in a satanic world, and Satan exclusively hates these chosen Israelite black people more than anyone else, and he hates them and he wants to bury them. Because not only he hates them because they're chosen, but he hates them because literally, like I just explained, they're your and my hope to be saved. Of course, we don't need them, but salvation is for them, and it's for all who cling to the truth that came down through them and for them. In other words,
that's a lie.
First, you're second. This is explained not only in the Bible, but also all of the books that should be in your so-called Bible, but were not allowed in by the Freemasons.
Everything he said, except for salvations for everybody who accepts this, is a lie. The way that they're going to be saved is through slavery. We'll let another white person explain that, who's going to be a little more, how should I say, knowledgeable on the topic, right? But good old Esau, I just found out the truth, so at least he's saying something about it, right?
Organizations that rule and control the earth, because they don't want you to know all that truth, but it is out there.
But while we're talking about it, this is proof that some of them will say it if it thinks that it'll save them, not because they want to tell the truth, just because they're hoping that if they do tell the truth, they'll get to walk in on the by the coattail of an Israelite, which is not factual. You know what I'm saying, according to the Bible. So he's got the mindset of the white people that are marching in your Black Lives Matter rallies and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? They're doing it to make it seem like, they're with you if it'll help them at the end, or if they think it'll help them in the end. You understand what I'm saying? Anyway.
I know it's in Baruch. I know it's in Ezra. That's the message for this video. And again, black people, this special.
Notice he said Ezra, not Ezra. So the crackers know about the Apocrypha. Don't let them fool you.
The Hebrew Israelites, the actual chosen people of the Most High, who was sent on slave ships, not for the sake of all of them, but for the sake of the many. Because just as all humans are fallen, the majority of them oftentimes did not follow after him, but he always had his Zion. He even always had his prophets. He always had his faithful people. But they were even sent into exile for the sake of the many. Because the Most High isn't playing around, and he deals with people as a whole. So he even deals with his chosen nation as a whole. So wrapping up this video, his chosen people are the black people who were sent on slave ships. You need to bless them if you even want to be blessed on this earth. And if you even want to be saved and make it into the next earth, you need to cling to this truth. And even metaphorically and even literally cling to them. Because salvation is not for everyone. The Messiah himself said he came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. That's a specific people. That's not everyone. That's not you or me. For most of you people watching this video. Of course, a lot of Hebrew Israelite can't.
You see the scripture? You know not what you worship, salvations of the Jews.
That's
so
right.
Again, he made this video because he's trying to get into the next kingdom. He's thinking that if he blesses us with letting us know we're the Israelites, that the Most High is going to bless him. But he don't realize that prophecies already came and gone. They already missed their opportunity to bless us because they had us in captivity. So now the only blessing is us going into the kingdom, right, and them coming into the slave, like going into the cotton fields, right, as our slaves. So.
Camps are not telling you the full truth about this.
So he says camps aren't telling you the full truth about this because he doesn't want people to listen to the camps. He'd rather you listen to some of these other new Israelite congregations that have just came out maybe 2-3 years ago that now all of a sudden want to accept the white man if they can accept the truth, which is not biblical. Once again, there's going to be another white person that will tell you that in just a second.
Because they do not know. Hopefully for their sake, you know, but what they're saying is, oh, that means no one can be saved unless you're an Israelite,
which is facts. So as you can see, if you can't tell what the video is about, we're going to be talking about what everybody's been talking about, but we're going to give a little bit of history with it because, you know, that's what I like to do. So this lesson is going to be about the JewISH man, right? And the Balfour Declaration and the proof that they're the Khazars, right? Because I think by now we already have enough videos out there proving we're the Israelites. So today we're going to let them explain how we're the Israelites instead of us explaining it, right? And yeah, we just going to go from there. So we got some stuff from Hitler. I got some books that y'all might want to go get. You understand what I'm saying? So that you can further arm yourself with the weaponry to go against Esau and his madness when he come at you with ain't no way y'all are the Jews or the Israelites, right? So let me see. I don't think the video I want I posted. I did. Hey Judah, you got the video of Karen, bro?
I can get it for you right now.
Yeah, you can put it up for me one time while I let them see how Ishmael doesn't like the JewISH man and how he knows who we are as well.
Con, I got you.
All right,
You go on mute so it don't start. Hold on.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna show a couple quick videos first, right? And then I'm gonna use a couple of clips to teach. Got some precepts and everything that y'all might want to mark down. As I said, I got books that y'all are gonna want to mark down. So like the video, YouTube has us shadow banned now. For those of you that don't know, I have not gotten a confirmation for the video. I did it twice. I unsubscribed and I resubscribed and still have not gotten a notification for this video. So that proves to me that they did to us what they did to Priest Daniela's channel and one of the Sakari channels. They have shadow banned us from YouTube. So the water, Eliyah for the donation. So we need everybody to like the video that's up in here so that we can get more of the notifications out to the people, right? The water. So like the video when y'all come in. It's very important. If you don't, Israel will not see this video because we are now shadow banned by YouTube, right? So let's you got Karen out?
Con.
Okay, let me show y'all Ishmael right quick. We're gonna let Karen speak a little bit and then we're gonna get right into this thing. Yeah, we're gonna talk about how all the Israelite celebrities have tried and failed because they can't ungive themselves the gift that Esau's given that destroyed their heart. So they don't want to lose the gift. So they're defending the white man at all costs. Ishmael, here we go. All right.
اليهود في وقتنا الحالي هل هم لهم علاقة ببني إسرائيل في التاريخ القديم من ناحية العرق والجنس؟ يفترض أن بني إسرائيل في التاريخ القديم كانت لهم مواصفات جسمانية كطول الجسد
So for those of y'all, you're gonna have to read the subtitles obviously because this is Ishmael. He's not gonna speak no English. But what he's gonna tell you basically in a nutshell in his little 2-minute talk is that Israelites, If you watch the first like probably minute very closely, he's going to explain to you how the Jewish people are not any way tied to the original Israelites, right? And he's on a news channel, and I believe Saudi Arabia is teaching this. So this is on national television over there where they are.
عرض الجسد وشكل الرأس ولون البشرة ولون الشعر ولون العينين هذه المواصفات التي يفترض أن الأبناء يولدوا دائما يتوارثون.
See, he's telling you that these things are supposed to be passed down from father to son, right? We obviously know that the Jewish community doesn't pass anything down from father to son, but they go from mother to son, which is weird.
اليهود الآن منهم الزنجي ومنهم
Now look, he says Jews today include the Negros. He says us first. Then he says the yellow-haired and the blue-eyed. So he's trying to say now it includes black people and white people, right? He's saying we the Negroes, and obviously the yellow-haired, blue-eyed is the Edomites. So he's trying to say now Jews today include both black and white. How is this possible? So listen to what he's saying.
صاحب الشعر الأصفر ومنهم صاحب العيون الزرقاء يعني تقريبا يتنوعوا ما بين أجناس البشر.
In other words, they include a variety of races.
أن هؤلاء في
Therefore, it is not true that the modern Jews are related to the ancient Israelites, right? Now, here's why he's going to say that.
العصر الحديث لهم علاقة ببني إسرائيل في التاريخ القديم هذا ليس صحيح. الرابط الوحيد بين هؤلاء وبين بني إسرائيل في التاريخ القديم بعد السبي البابلي أو قبل ذلك بالنسبة.
So he's saying the only connection that these white people have to the Israelites, the ancient Israelites, after Babylonian captivity or even before it,
الذين كانوا يرتكبون
with regard to the people who generated crisis throughout history, which is us, right?
المشاكل أو
Always going through captivity.
الأزمات التاريخية الرابط هو الديانة.
Their ties to the land or their ties to the name Jew has to do with religion, not race. Okay, so that's all I wanted to show there. So this is proof that Ishmael knows this, right? Giving variance to what many of you know the Egyptian president, the late Egyptian president Gamal Nasser said, right, about the white Jews leaving Israel black but coming back white, so they can't be accepted because they're nothing more than Hebrew-speaking Gentiles, right? He said this on national television. It made it to the New York Times, the Washington Post, and the New York Times and stuff like that. And he basically got killed afterwards. But this statement on TV in the Middle East basically proves and holds true that his statement was facts. That the people in the Middle East still to this day understand that the people over there in the Middle East today are not the real Jews, right? Which is why they keep trying to fight, because they feel like as long as we're not there, they still have right to the land, which is why they're fighting for it, right? So the water sister Cassie for your donation. Put Karen on the screen right quick, so we can get this thing started.
Come.
Shalom Yakwa. Shalom Ma'akaya.
Let me know when you can see it.
Shalom to all the soldiers in the chat.
You see my screen?
Yeah. Make it bigger.
Come.
There you go. All right, press play.
Okay, so I am going to do another little video here, just kind of as an addendum to my other videos. I've been reading all the comments, good and bad.
So look, right quick, Karen, she's gonna say some factual things, right? She's gonna explain how she ain't doing this to, grab onto the coattails, because she know it don't work like that, right? That's the only reason I want to show this video, because she know a little bit of something. But another reason why, and the reason I wanted to show these before we actually get into the lesson, is because the narrative that's been painted, right? When we say we're the Israelites, we're anti-Semitic. So if the white people are supposed to be the Semitic people, is it anti-Semitic for white people to say that we're the Israelites? So if that's not the case, we're gonna let white people and all these people who aren't Negroes, right, explain to you how the Negroes are the Israelites today in this video. And then we're going to give the proof based off the Balfour Declaration, which is the document that they used to put themselves in Israel in 1948, which was the document that Hitler himself was trying to stop them from being able to put into action, which was the document that started World War II, right? So the whole World War II, for those of you that don't know, wasn't about them fighting for jobs and, you know, all this other crap, trying to stop Hitler from world domination and Stalin, all these other people. It wasn't about none of that crap, right? What it was about was Hitler finding out he wasn't a Jew, right? And that the real Jews were the Negros, and wanting to do something to the fake Jews about it. And Britain already having a plan in 1917 to move these fake Jews to Israel. And Britain getting the United States help and President Truman at the time to help them kill Hitler, join World War II, and bring those fake Jews over into America, which is why Hitler said what he said about America being blackmailed by the Jews, because he knew he would have won the war if America never would have got involved, because it didn't involve them in the first place. So, without further ado, let's let Karen speak.
Okay, so I am going to do another little video here, just kind of as an addendum to my other videos. I've been reading all the comments, good and bad, and I just feel like there's a few things maybe I need to clarify, so I just wanted to do that. First of all, I wanted to let you know that I was not trying to teach in my video. I know that the women are not supposed to be teaching. I mean, the Bible says that silent in the church.
Why Eve get it? I mean, why she saw get it, but Eve don't be getting it, bro? That's a serious question for y'all, Eve. Why was this cave woman man enough to say that? And yes, I said man enough. Why was she man enough to say that? But Eve can't do it, man. Anyway, go ahead, let's let Karen speak.
Not supposed to be teaching. I mean, the Bible says that let the women remain silent in the churches. So when you see these women preachers, I really don't know how they justify that, because the Bible's pretty cut and dry. So I'm sorry if I offended anybody. I'm sorry if it came across that way. That's not what I was trying to do. All I was trying to do was just get this information that I've learned out there. So like I said, I'm sorry if I offended anybody. That was not my intention. Like I said, I was trying to get this out there to everybody. And as far as waking up the white race, I'm not sure about that, honestly, because the comments that I have gotten from the white race have been pretty bad. People,
all right, so pause this very quick, right? Pause this, because this was important.
Hold up.
Telling me to get it.
Slocky.
Yeah, just like stay on the screen so you go back and pause it when I need you to pause it, because I'm gonna ask you to pause a couple times. What you call it? Okay, so Karen said something important, right? That we all need to like remember, okay? Because this is coming from Esau's daughter herself, right? So she's telling you that her people have a hard time accepting this, even when it's coming from her people. So if we're the ones claiming that we the Israelites, and she can't even claim that we the Israelites without them hating her for it, why the hell are y'all expecting them to believe us? Why does it matter if they believe us, right? If we doing what we're supposed to be doing and we come together like we're supposed to, there's nothing they're going to be able to do to stop the truth from coming out anyway. Brothers have to realize that, which is why there's no reason for us to ever backtrack on anything that we say concerning the truth, because that's exactly what it is, the truth, right? Whoever told the truth and then apologized for it, besides Nick Cannon and Sean Jackson and Steve Jackson. Right? Whoever told the truth and apologized for it besides niggas? Nobody. It's because we the only ones that aren't bold enough to stand on our truth. And we need to stop being like that, because Esau's got the balls to do it. You understand what I'm saying? So we need to stop letting the dogs have more balls than we do. Straight like that. Press play,
from the white race have been pretty bad. People call me every name in the book, telling me to go kill myself, telling me to get AIDS and die. I mean, that's just the most horrible thing that to me. So it's kind of discouraging, actually, because I cannot be the only white person on the face of this earth that feels this way. I mean, there's got to be somebody else out there. It's really discouraging and disheartening because I just don't understand how they can be so racist and have such hatred in their heart. I don't get it. So actually, I would kind of like to apologize for the comments that the white race are saying to my videos, because I didn't intend to bring this kind of stuff out either. When I learned this, something inside of me was pulling at me and was telling me to put this out there. And so I did it because, like I said, something was telling me to do it. So I did. And like I said, as far as waking up the white race, I don't know. Maybe given time, some white people will stumble on my video and they will be just as ignorant as I was. And it'll help wake them up to see the truth. So that's what I'm hoping. So, second of all, I do want to clarify too that I know that the Black people that are here in the United States now are not African. I know that. The term African American is what the white man has pinned on them. Basically, I feel to try to keep hiding their true identity. They want them to think they're African, so they won't find out who they really are. So I know, and I wanted to clarify that I know the Black people here are the true Hebrew Israelites. I know that. So let me just get that out there and clarify that. Also, something interesting that some people may not know is that actually Africans, they don't like the Black race that's over here. They don't like them. They hate them. And the only conclusion that I can come to is that because the Africans know that they're the true Hebrew Israelites. They know they're the chosen people of God. So therefore they hate them.
So look, she said that the Africans don't even like Black people. This is a white girl, so-called, right? She saw the cave woman, red devil, blue devil, Duke, right? This is her telling you straight up that they hate us, the real Africans. She knows that they sold us to them. She's not one of the Edomites that have the mindset of, how do you feel about your brothers in Africa selling you to us? You understand what I'm saying? Hey, I never said trust your enemy. I never said that. I will never say that. That is not what we're talking about here. We're saying Karen just got some facts. That's exactly what we're saying, right? Karen got the facts. Who she learned the facts from? She learned it from us, right? She walked past ISUPK one day. They called her a cave woman, cussed her out and stuff like that. And she couldn't help but go home and look the stuff up. And when she did, she made a video about it. She got cussed out by some white people. She felt invigorated because, that's how Karen does, right? And then she made another video. That's what it is. So I'm just letting her speak the truth, since when we speak the truth, we're anti-Semitic. It's not us trusting the enemy. It's us letting the enemy fall on their own sword. That's all we're doing. Press play out.
The only conclusion that I can come to. So I just wanted to clarify that I do know that they are not African. Just because the white man got them from the continent that we now know as Africa doesn't make them African. I mean, okay, I live in America, but I'm not American. I mean, it was not my choice to be here, and I don't like it here. Simple. I mean, that's just being honest. So, like I said, just because.
Hey, Judith, you gotta unmute. Ooh, that boy was trying to sneeze.
My bad, I had to sneeze, man.
When you mute, you got the video. When you mute, you
My bad. I'm gonna back it up a little bit on that.
All right, bet.
That they are not African. Just because the white man got them from the continent that we now know as Africa doesn't make them African. I mean, okay, I live in America, but I'm not American. I mean, it was not my choice to be here, and I don't like it here. Simple. I mean, that's just being honest. So, like I said, just because they were brought from the continent of Africa doesn't make them African. And I wanted to read something. It's from a book called From Babylon to Timbuktu.
All right, so pause it. Because I see brothers saying if the devil speaks the truth, it's to hide something else. She's actually not hiding anything. She's telling you exactly where she's getting information from. I'm telling you, right? She's no different than the white guy that came and kissed our feet in the last video. He's seen this before. That's why he came and showed up. He wanted to pay tribute to the Israelites. The Most High is going to put it in their spirit, some of them, to do this, right? They're going to cleave early cleaving, right? Cleaving before it's time. That's what's going to happen because it's going to need to be some of them to validate the truth for us, right? You got to remember, there's some Uncle Tom Stockholm syndrome having Jakes out there that ain't going to believe they're the Israelites until Esau or Esau tells them so, right? It's not true if a black man says it, but if the white man says it, they'll believe it. Or if the white woman says it, they'll believe it. So best believe the Most High is putting it on some of their spirits to do this. Go ahead, Aqua.
Encourage it because it's really interesting. There's a paragraph, here on page 84. It says, in the year 65 BC, the Roman armies under General Pompey captured Jerusalem. In 70 AD, General Vespasian, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, and his son Titus put an end to the Jewish state with great slaughter. During the period of the military governors of Palestine, many outrages and atrocities were committed against the residue of the people. During the period from Pompey to Julius, it has been estimated that over 1 million Jews fled into Africa, fleeing from Roman persecution and slavery. The slave markets were full of Black Jewish slaves. So that shows you right there exactly how the Hebrew Israelites got into Africa. It just reiterates my point about them not being African just because that's where they were at. And also one other thing is it's not coming from the Bible, it's coming from from Bible Dictionary. And under Ham, it says, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of 8 persons to live through the flood. Now, this is the key point. He became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negros, but the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites. So anybody who wants to try to say that the Black race, they come from Ham, that's not true. That is not true. He was the progenitor of all the other dark races, just not the Hebrew Israelites. Also, I want to clarify, too, that I know Christ is Black. I know it. I tried to bring it out in my video. I don't know if I didn't do a good enough job, but I do know that. And I don't think he's a man with a tan. I don't think he's Arab. And I know for sure that he's not a white man with blonde hair and blue eyes. So I also wanted to let everybody know I know Christ is Black. So just wanted to get that out there. And lastly, some comments about, just another white girl trying to worm her way in. That's not my intention either. I'm not trying to come in at the last minute and say, let me grab onto the coattails of the Israelites and maybe I can get in too. It's not going to work that way. What the Most High has prophesied will come to pass. Right. And he has prophesied that I will be a maidservant in the next life.
Oh, so, praise this.
The Bible says he's never changing. So no matter what I come in and say or do at the last minute, it's not going to change that.
All right, you can stop her now. I don't want to hear her talk no more. I just wanted her to say that. That's it, y'all. You understand?
All praise.
In the video right there. No, I'm playing. But yeah, so as you see, right? I hope now I want to see if they're gonna say that was racist because it wasn't us that said it, now it was them, right? Yeah, that's the nail in the coffin. So all praises to the Most High. Yeah, she did say Negros. She did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have to close that in.
Hey, all right. So, man, yes, sir. Israel. All right. So we got fake Jews, right? Somebody gave me Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 7. I was going into this a little bit on Saturday, but We're just gonna go ahead and get into it.
Hey, WJ said for that she can work 22 hours out the day instead of 23. Hey, that's why.
Yeah,
she gonna work an hour away from her house. She gonna work an hour away from her house.
She don't look like she gonna have enough stamina to make it that quick. You might have to cut down the time for Becky.
Get her a vitamin C pill.
Becky not gonna live past day one. You know, vitamin C don't work for white people. The sun's still gonna destroy them. She gonna need a vitamin D pill so she can make it. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, somebody give me Ecclesiastes 7:7. Somebody give me Ezekiel 35:5.
Come. The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7 and verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad.
So we know that the reason why people like Nick Cannon, people like even Ice Cube, even though he didn't really say nothing directly tied to the Israelites, he only said that Yahweh Shah was black, which everybody should know by now, right? And Deshaun Jackson, Steven Jackson, right? All these people who came out, and whether they had to retract their statements or just completely go under the dang water like Kendrick Lamar and act like they never existed. You know what I'm saying? Some brothers and sisters know about this truth, and the reason they speak on it is because oppression makes the wise man mad, right? Ecclesiastes 7:7 says, not Ezekiel, Ecclesiastes. Keep reading.
And a gift destroyeth the heart.
And a gift destroys the heart, right? So the fact that, and Brother Judah is going to bring this out next week, right? The fact that brothers and sisters have to walk back and retract their statements when they speak about their true nationality, since it's obvious in fact that we don't have one right now, right? Is because we have been given a gift, right? Many of our people who are in these prominent positions, they've been given a gift that will not allow them to speak factually on their true nationality and their identity, because the people who gave them the gift are the very ones who stole it from them, right? So this is why, you know, a lot of the main investors of these NFL teams, for those of you that don't know, I have friends that play in the NFL. I have one of my friends is the running back for the New York Giants. Another friend of mine is the defensive tackle for the Arizona Cardinals. I went to high school with both of these Negros, right? And they both will tell you that even though their owner himself isn't Jewish, the head investor or the lead investors or the group investor for the team, right, or the group of investors, I should say, are Jewish people, right? Alazar brought it out the other day. He seen I think it was Alazar. Somebody though said that they saw a Jewish man with a Lakers ring in the club one night, right? The Jewish man wasn't on the team. The reason why is because he had the money to buy the bread. To buy the ring. Or he might have been a family member to one of the investors that was actually an investor for the Lakers, right? Because that's how I work with the New York Giants. That's how I work with the Atlanta Falcons. That's how I work with every single team in the NFL. They all have Jewish investors that invest into their team, right? And those investors get a cut based off the end net amount of money that the company makes or that the team makes after ticket sales and, you know, concessions and all that type of stuff. After they pay all the players, these investors get a return on their investment. So that's how it works. You understand what I'm saying? They get the ring if the team wins a championship. They get a little mini trophy like the players do. If they win something, they get the little hat, you know what I'm saying? All that type of crap. Just because they're the Jewish man, they can have any type of control of whatever they want. You understand what I'm saying? And it's because they stole your identity. Same thing with television, right? Viacom is one company that runs CBS, Nickelodeon, and like about 5-6 other big-time TV networks, right? It's all run by one corporation. And this corporation has nothing but Jewish investors, right? So this is why Nick Cannon had to walk back what he was saying. You understand what I'm saying? So there are prominent Jewish people or former Jewish people, I should say, because they realize they're converts and they're unconverted, who have said that they're not the real Jews, right? Like Mark Zuckerberg, the owner of Facebook and Twitter and stuff like that, whatever it is that he owns, right? So he is a fake Jew, for those of y'all that don't know, but he's also come out and denounced the fact that the Jews are actually the real Jews. But what he did is he never told you who the real Jews were. You understand what I'm saying? Hitler, he did the opposite. Hitler denounced being a Jew and then told you who the real Jews were. but now we're anti-Semitic for saying those type of things, right? So we have a little bit of information. We're gonna get into some scripts, like I said. We're gonna play a couple more videos, and then we're gonna read the Balfour Declaration, the actual document. I'm gonna give it to you guys because on the Truman website in 2019, last year, Donald Trump had his people change it. For those of you that don't know, Donald Trump's son-in-law is Jared Kushner, right? Who's a big prominent figure in Israel. He's a Jew, right? His father was a big-time Jewish lawyer who's in jail right now. So his son, you know what I'm saying, being a big-time Jewish lawyer and stuff like that, he's got a lot of prominence in Israel and a lot of money as well. So he found out about us and our movement, right? And he basically made sure that the White House changed the whole Truman Library website so that it would be difficult for us to find information on the Balfour Declaration so that we couldn't teach it anymore. But I took screenshots from 2016 when I first came into the truth and found out about the Balfour Declaration, and I kept the screenshots from my last phone. So I'm going to be showing you guys old screenshots, unfortunately. But we have them, so y'all going to get to see. Ezekiel 35:5.
This is Ezekiel chapter 35 and verse 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, saith the Most High, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee, since thou hast not hated blood. Even blood shall pursue thee.
So Esau basically has hated us, right? They haven't hated anything they've done to us, but they've always had a perpetual hatred towards us, and they always will. They're never gonna let you tell the truth, right? We're gonna at some point get to the point where, you know, one of the brothers gets up on a big time YouTube show or something, maybe like the Breakfast Club or something like that. But even then, it's gonna get to the point where they're gonna be trying to deny us, right? Because they've had Israelites on TV before, right? When the whole thing with HOI happened last year or the year before that, whenever it was, what did they do, right? They went on CNN and they took that fake Israelite Negro with no beard. He didn't even have a beard, and they let him be the spokesperson for us on TV, right? We don't know what congregation he with. Ain't never seen him before. He ain't never been to a summit. Ain't never been to a meeting. Ain't never had a conference call with brothers. Nobody's following him on Facebook, but he's the Israelite that gets to go follow them and speak for all of us, right? And the first thing he says was, I'm not about hate. We don't hate anybody. You know what I'm saying? It's not even about teaching that we're the real Jews. We're just trying to. He basically just didn't even accept his nationality up there. You understand what I'm saying? So go ahead.
He got to be the spokesperson for us, but then turn around and say that HOI is not the spokesperson for all of Israel.
So, yeah, he actually said that, right? He got to be the spokesperson for all Israel when he said that HOI doesn't speak for all Israel, which doesn't make no sense because the real Israelites, they were speaking for them. You know, the white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Devil means deceiver. He's been deceiving you by making you think he's the Jew, which is literally in the Bible, Revelations 2:9 and 3:9. When we say that, it's not something out of hate, it's a fact. And we're going to prove it today, emphatically, with their words, not ours. So it won't be anti-Semitic, right? For them semi-Jews. Let's get Psalm 58 and 3. And then give me Luke 21 and 24. And then we're going to watch another video. Yeah. Okay. Oh, you got it. Go ahead.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 58 and verse 3. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies.
Yeah, they go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies, man. These crackers is born speaking where the Israelites. You know what I'm saying? Yod Haid Wav Haid Hashem. That's them, right? So they go from the womb speaking lies. You know what I'm saying? My fathers are converts. My mother is Ashkenazi blood and my father is Sephardic. Let me tell you something about that, right? Ashkenazi are fake Jews. Ashkenaz himself is a son of Japhet, right? If I'm not mistaken, let me see so I don't misquote what this is. The facts. Hold up a second. All right. Ashkenaz is a son of Gomer, right? Which is a son of Japhet. So Ashkenaz in no way, Ashkenaz isn't even a Hebrew, right? Not even a Hebrew, which means not even a son of Shem. So an Ashkenazi Jew is not a Semite, it's not a Shemite, it's a Japhetite, right? So Japhetite. So that's what these people are. If that was them, the fact of the matter is they're not even Ashkenazi, right? They stole that identity as well. You understand what I'm saying? The reason they got that is because they were Israelites. Yeah, let me show y'all this right quick. Let me show y'all this right quick while we're here. Hold on a second. Let me stop sharing this one for a hot second and pull this up for y'all. Oh, that's my grandpa, y'all. That's Blue Cat. This is Nature Knows No Color Line, right? By J.A. Rogers. Great book. Okay. This is about how we ruled the Dark Ages. Here is a picture of Israelites, right? From Morocco. So the white people you see that look like French Montana in Morocco right now, not the original Moroccans, right? French Montana is an imposter and a culture vulture. You feel me? He's a culture vulture. So what's that? Okay, that was weird. Y'all hear that? They doing something.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Anyway, let me see if I can pull this right quick. All right, look. So this is like family crest, right? British families, top left. The Moors, y'all should know what that sounds like, right? Of Yorkshire, including Sir Thomas More, Chancellor Henry VIII, all this type of stuff, right? We got Queen Elizabeth I, Sir Thomas More, Henry VIII, right? These are the real family crest, the real images of these people that this man found all the way in the early 1900s, right? Check this out. This is the Negro ancestry and white race, meaning Negro ancestry that the white folks stole. Understand me? He looking up, when he went back and did his research, there was 126 families that were nobles, that were Negroes and known Israelites in Germany, 53 in Holland, 24 in Italy, 18 in Switzerland, 14 in Poland, 8 in Denmark, 3 in Sweden, 2 inland, right? And this is just the ones he was able to find in the early 1900s, because we know that most of these records were destroyed so that we wouldn't have claim to these lands, right? So reason for me bringing this up, these people, these families here, the 126 in Germany, the 53 in Holland, the 18 in Switzerland, and the 14 in Poland, and the 8 in Denmark specifically, right, knew that they were Israelites and would call themselves Ashkenaz Jews, because they went and took over the land of Ashkenaz, which was Germany. If you go back and look, Gomer is Germany, right? So they went and took the land of Ashkenaz. So the whole term Ashkenaz Jew, when you go and look up the etymology of it, that is even a stolen term, because it was a term we were using. You know what I'm saying? Let me show you. It was a term these brothers and sisters were using, right? Let me show you the German last names. If let me see if I got them. Let me see. I hope I got. Nope, I don't got them. If I could find that picture right quick, I will show y'all. But there's also a picture I have from this book that basically shows you all the German last names. Here's some of them. Schwarzenhofer, Schwarzenman, Schwartzman, right? Schwarzenberger. You understand me? These names sound familiar, right? These are the type of names that the Jewish people had, right? What's Hitler's real name, right? Schuckenberger, huh? Schuckenberger is one of the names that's on this list. This is how Hitler found out he wasn't a real Jew. He read this book, Nature Knows No Color Line, and then the Olympics happened with Jesse Owens, and that's when he was able to connect the dots. Jesse Owens is one of them niggas from this book I was reading that said we took all our names from them. So because he found out he had a black man's last name, Schuckenberger, right? As you can see, these are the names right here. Schwarzenberger, Schwartzman, Schwarz and Schizenberg or Schazenbach, right? Schwazenkopf. I can't read this. Swazenkopen. You understand what I'm saying? these are names that white people have now, but they originally belonged to us. And the proof is the family crest. White folks have family crests they taught us about when we were in elementary school for the nobles of Europe, right? Well, the original family crests weren't knights like with their faces being covered. They used to actually show the knights because we know the knights were black. That's why they're called black knights, right? So instead of dressing the knight up in armor, they used to just put the knight's face as the family crest and put his last name at the bottom. There you have it. This is the family crest of Germany right here in your face, right? And they have the German last name still to this day that people in Germany have. The same people who are in Israel today. They kept their last names, right? This is why we have a Max Kellerman, Goldberg, right? What's the cracker from that radio show in New York? I forget, Hot 107, Hot 97, something like that.
I couldn't even tell you.
Rosenberg. His name Rosenberg, right? We got Rosenberg. Rosenberg, they stole from us. You understand what I'm saying? So this is what I'm saying. All of these names were stolen, and it's a known fact, even back then. So, all of these people who know about this, right, have been trying to put the truth out there, and they fail. So I'm doing it a different way now. I'm gonna let them speak and explain to you how they were, stealing our identities and that type of stuff. So that's a book called Nature Knows No Color Line. Y'all should go get that because it literally proves to you that even the Jewish man, he can't even call himself an Ashkenaz Jew because that's even a term that he stole from us, right? He can't call himself a Jew, period, because that's an identity that he stole from us. And really, we're not supposed to call ourselves Jews because Jew is a term that they made up, right? And we have a video that can prove that. But what scripture did I ask y'all for?
Did you read yours already, all right? I think you did. Yeah, you wanted Luke 21:24.
Yeah, give me that.
All right, this is the book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 24. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
So Jerusalem is being trodden down by the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled, right? So again, since we're anti-Semitic for telling you who these Gentiles are that are trotting down, in Israel, we're gonna let them tell you who they are. So here's another video.
Like a noble pursuit in 1897, when the goal of creating a homeland for Jews seemed like a noble pursuit in 1897, when the Zionist movement became officially established. However, their dream of returning to Palestine has become a nightmare of violence, and there is no end in sight. Worse yet, the concept that Palestine is their homeland has turned out to be a tragic mistake. These white-skinned Ashkenazi Jews are not descendants of the original Jews of Palestine. There were no...
He keeps saying Palestine because he doesn't know what to call it if the white Jews aren't there. You understand what I'm saying? He's not very educated. But the point of the matter is, he knows that these people that are there aren't the real people, right?
White people in Africa or Palestine 2,000 years ago.
Yeah, let me rewind that a little bit. That was going to do a little 10-second joint. It did. All right. Let's go right here.
Descendants of the original Jews of Palestine. There were no white people in Africa or Palestine 2,000 years ago. The medieval Europeans assumed that Jesus Christ, his mother, and the other original Jews looked just like the Europeans, which is why you can find Jesus.
Now, this is them trying to cover up what they did, because you know damn well that they didn't assume anything, because it says it in the book what he looked like. It said in the history what he looked like. They had pictures before their whitewashed images of what he looked like. And the book literally tells you that they went in and whitewashed those images through iconoclasm, right? So that's all stuff that we have to remember, that we have to, not fall asleep on when the white man's trying to downplay the atrocities that they did towards us when stealing our identity.
Blue eyes and green eyes, and why his mother has such white skin. A Jewish historian looked into the ancestry of the Ashkenazi Jews and wrote the 13th tribe to show that their homeland is the area near the Caspian Sea. The mainstream media is ignoring this information, Most of the alternative media is also ignoring it. Your best source of information is the French Connection at IamTheWitness.com. Here are some excerpts from an
Oh, Salakia, y'all. You ain't got to buy that book. It's for free on Amazon. Not for free, but you can find a free PDF, sis, or brother, whoever. Once nature knows no color line. If you want the actual hard copy, yeah, go ahead and buy the book. But if you just cool with just wanting to read it, you could take screenshots and save the pictures or whatever. They have free PDF files of that because somebody was dumb enough to upload it.
Interview about the 13th tribe.
One of the subjects that I have been actually pounding pretty hard on the radio about is this new book. Well, it's not a new book, but to me it was quite new. Most of these subjects are new to me. It's a book called The 13th Tribe by a man named Khazar, and it was written some time ago. However, it is still, to date, I think probably the strongest evidence we've got of some of the deceptions around, the Zionist camp, how they are going out into the airwaves and into the newspapers, creating false charges of anti-Semitism, causing people to believe that they are, in fact, the rightful heirs to Israel.
You understand? So for those of y'all that don't know, this is also a book that you can find on free PDF. Shout out to Ikarab. You can look up this book and read it for yourself, The 13th Tribe by Arthur Koestler. He's not telling you that the Jews are the black people, but he is going to tell you that the fake Jews are the people that are claiming to be Jews in Israel are actually Khazars, right? So it's a good book for that part of the information. But basically, in that book, he, like I said, just explains that they aren't in fact the Israelites. And he also goes a little bit in depth with explaining to you how they stole Israel and how they're always going to use anti-Semitism as a cop-out. You know what I'm saying? Whenever something comes up to challenge their claim or their stake to the land. So, which is why they do that all the time, right? The man Arthur Koestler, who, if I'm not mistaken, is a fake Jew himself and did what Hitler did, found out about the truth and wrote a book about it. He actually, because of his ties to the Jewish community, knows about how they always pull the anti-Semitism card. Kind of like how they say Negroes always play the black card when it comes to some races. So they do the same thing, you know what I'm saying, as a way of them stealing our identity. It's a right that they think they have. So they use it and they use it at will. And it's because it's like nationwide propaganda for them. It's something that they all know to do if their nationality and identity is ever challenged. Just pull the anti-Semitic card.
Any other things. And so I've invited someone from Britain. His name is Mohammed Rafik, and he has been involved in trying to get the truth out about this stuff.
Mohammed Rafik. I don't know if any of y'all heard of him before, but he's a big time Middle Eastern Ishmaelite that knows a lot about the fake Jews and how they came through off the Zionist movement and how they used the Zionist movement to build the Suez Canal in the 1880s. And from there, used the Zionist movement to get in contact with Balfour to make his declaration to move them to Israel after World War II. So, yeah, Mohammed Rafik, if y'all want any more information on that.
For over a decade and a half, going on 2 decades now, which is amazing because, this is back in the day when nobody was talking about this, or very few people. And I think the first thing I'd like to start out with is how this Khazarian empire was born, and because the listeners they already know that the Khazars are the forerunners to the Ashkenazi sect of Judaism. So, since you've done the study, where did the Khazar dynasty begin, and how did it get underway?
What actually happened was, somewhere between the 7th and 8th centuries of the Christian era, we find these Khazars who live in the area which was named after them, Khazaria, which is the land locked between the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea. The northern border of this land.
For those of y'all that don't know, the Caucasus Mountains are right here, okay? So a lot of our people were between the Byzantine Empire, Israel's over here in the Middle East, right? So we basically have control of this area right here at this time, 700s, right? Well, we're losing control of it at this time, but we have partial control of the Byzantine Empire here. And there's scattered Israelite communities all throughout this land. I have another map that's going to show that, right? But here are the Caucasus Mountains where we moved them to in Job, and they were able to move right down from these Caucasus Mountains into the Byzantine Empire and take over Rome. So as y'all can see, it wasn't very difficult because it wasn't that far. I don't know if this is the video that's going to tell the history part of it, but I have one that's going to basically explain to you how they moved up from the Caucasus Mountains to Khazaria and then took over, used Khazaria and the armies over there that they basically won stuff from Japhet and joined them together to try to stop the Umayyad dynasty of Ishmael and the people who were pushing Islam through the four corners of the earth at that time. And that's basically how that happened. Eventually they would win, they would beat the Umayyad dynasty, and that's when they would move into the Byzantine Empire and take over Rome for the second time, right? And that's when the beginning of the Renaissance would begin.
Is actually the third range of mountains. If you were to start heading north from the south, you'll find there's actually three ranges of mountains, and the third one being the Caucasus of there, just north of which is where modern-day Chechnya and Ingushetia.
Yeah, it's basically Russia.
Okay. And to the south, you would find the main trade route that came out through Persia, across northern Iraq, northern Syria, and into Turkey. This was a common...
Is that the present Kurdistan region? Do we have a lot of Kurds in that area?
It would include Kyrgyzstan and possibly Azerbaijan, and slightly out to the north, even would stretch up to southern Armenia.
Website, the book is available.
Now, the fact that it's between the land of the Khazars is as you go over the first range of mountains and drop down, their empire stretched from the north side of the first range of mountains all the way to the south side of the third. This area is modern-day Georgia. Covers a lot of the land in modern-day Georgia. And what's important about it is that they found themselves for the first time facing a difficult situation.
All right, well, that's all I want to know. He's born. Let me see what else we got. If there's another precept I want to go ahead and give me Obadiah 1 and hold it right quick. Yeah. Okay, so let me play this right quick. It'll be a quick 2 minutes, and then we're gonna get into the Hitler thing. And then we're gonna get into the Balfour Declaration. Class won't be too long today, y'all. It'll be pretty short, actually. So for those of y'all that can't catch it by now, I'm playing these videos to prove that the Jewish people over there are in fact Khazars, right? Some of them that aren't Khazars, the ones that are smart enough to say they aren't going back to the Ashkenazi, they'll say that they're Sephardic, right? And maybe next week when the brother's bringing out the modern day butt breaking presentation, I might show y'all a little bit of the Sephardic Jewry and how the real Sephardic Jews, or the real Sephardis, as they call them, were our people. They were so-called Negros, right? And that this whole custom during the Renaissance era, the beginning of it, the very beginning of it, we were kicked into Africa, right? The Sephardis, and their identities were literally stolen by the Jewish man, right? So, or Esau at the time. These were Ottoman Turks. So these people, right, and in this video, if I'm not mistaken, they're going to explain to you that the Ottoman Turks are in fact, Khazars as well. So he's going to be able to tie them together. But yeah, I mean, this, like, the Jewish people, basically, stole the religion from the Sephardi's, and that's why they got the concept of wearing all black from, because they learned that the Jews were black people from the Sephardi's, right? The Khazarians and the Ashkenazi, they had already stolen what they didn't really steal anything, they had converted. They were the ones that converted in I believe late 700s or early 800s AD. So they converted and everything. They had a caliphate up in the Khazarian mountains who ran into some merchants who were called Radanites, right? These Radanite merchants are the same merchants who were Israelites that taught Muhammad about the Bible. So when you read Babylon to Timbuktu and you read that Muhammad got his information from Israelite merchants, but they don't tell you who the Israelite merchants were, they were called Radanites. So y'all can write that down and go look them up for yourself. I haven't finished all of my research on them yet, but that's all I found out for the most part right now. That the Radanites are the ones that taught the Khazarians how to be Israelites, right? And allowed them to convert, because the caliphate or the leader of the Khazarian empire at that time, he was trying to come out of like paganism and realized that we had taken control of the Byzantine Empire, right? And we're now calling ourselves Christians. You understand me? Instead of calling ourselves Israelites. So, and then we had the Umayyad Empire who was pushing Islam, and they were doing pretty good at that time, right? Because we know the 740s is when Islam really got big and got to the four corners of the earth. So, like, that's how it happened right there, right? So they basically was able to, they had to choose between Christianity and Islam, and they decided not to do either one because they saw that there were already prominent people that were following Christianity and a prominent group, which is Ishmael, who was following Islam. So they decided to make a religion called Judaism, right? Out of the third major religion, which was the religion of the Jews, right? Since 325 AD, we had kind of mixed Christianity with pagan, or the Bible with paganism, and called it Christianity, right? He figured if we could just take the Torah, we could make ourselves like the original Israelites and nobody would mess with us, right? So that's literally what they did. They converted to being Jews and called it Judaism. You understand me? And that's how they picked up the torch. And eventually they would stay converted. He made the whole Khazarian empire convert to Judaism. They did it in one day, right? And then they start wearing shawls and all that type of stuff. Start wearing tzitzits, start dressing in all black, all that type of stuff, to make themselves like, you know, black unto the ground, to make themselves look like the Israelites. And they, after building a certain amount of prominence, they started, you know, introducing themselves as Jewish merchants. And that's where the name comes from. They realized that they were actually Israelites who were calling themselves Ashkenaz Jews, who were in Germany, which was us, as I told you. And they decided to just take the whole name from us. So we're going to be the Ashkenazi Jews now. Instead of Ashkenaz Jews, we're going to be the Ashkenazi Jews, right? Just like instead of Israelites, they're the Israelis. You understand what I'm saying? So we got Ashkenaz Jews, which is us, Ashkenazi Jews, which is them, Israelites, which is us, Israelis, which is them. Understand? So now that I got all of that out the way, let's hear where the Khazars come from. Okay.
Khazar was a semi-nomadic ethnic that lives in the north part of the Caucasus Mountains of 6th century. They were one of the Turkic family which established the Khazarian Khaganate in 7th century.
All right, one of the Turkic families. So this proves to you that these are, in fact, Alexander the Greek freak's ancestors, or descendants, I mean, right? These are the people that descend from Alexander the Greek freak and his Diadochi that took over the Middle East and Europe and had babies with all of the children in the seed of Ishmael, right? So this is them, the Turkic, right? The Turkic family, the Ottoman Turks. The reason why everybody in Turkey looks like an Edomite or a Cracker or a European is because that's what they are. These are the same people who we were talking about in the Boule video who got the name Griffin, right? Kathy Griffin, you feel what I'm saying? She's a descendant of the Khazarians and the Turks, you feel? Or her husband, whoever it is, they got the last name. So that's what it is.
Due to the fall of the Western Gokturk. In the 8th century, many of the Khazars who practiced shamanism finally converted to Judaism. the Khazars have a good relationship with the Byzantine Empire.
See, so they were worshippers of shamanism, whatever the heck that is. Oh, I think he's trying to say shamanism because he's an Edomite, he can't pronounce nothing. So shamanism is what they were accustomed to before, and they converted to Judaism. And he's going to tell you that they had a good relationship with the Byzantine Empire, right? That's because, if those of you that don't know, we were the same people that taught them how to speak, wash themselves, all that type of stuff. We've explained all that type of stuff to you before, right? This good relationship that they had with the Byzantine Empire allowed us to marry into their people, or for them to marry our people, and that eventually would, leave room for them to take over the empire, which they did. And a couple of them would lose the empire to Ishmael before they would take it back over again. That's how we lost the Byzantine Empire, because we were intermingling and mating with Edom again, right, against the Most High's wishes, and they ended up taking the empire from us. So, yep. And this was the beginning of the Renaissance period, or the rebirth of the white man. This is when they rebuilt, right, in Malachi chapter 1, and the Most High will eventually throw down. It begins with the Khazarian Empire after Alexander the Greek freed.
But having conflicts with the Arabian. Until the 9th century, the Picanic ethnic invaded the Khazarian Empire. This makes the Khazarians turn weaker. The Khazarian Empire falls with the Kivandros ethnic under Volodymyr the Great, which has also defeated the Volga Bulgars. After the fall, the Khazar finally disappeared from the history.
So for those of y'all that don't know, right, there were Bulgars and everything, the Bulgarians and the Russians and all that type of stuff. The white folks that went and took over Russia weren't the Edomites that were the Khazarians, right? These were the Ruses, the Belaruses. So they were different. They were in the Caucasus Mountains, but they left first, and they went and took over Belarus. They went and took over Russia. You know what I'm saying? That type of area. And they called themselves the Russes, or the Ruses, right? Which would eventually become the Russians. So these people went and took over Khazaria, and this is how they ended up intermingling with the people who moved over from Germany, Poland, and all that type of stuff into Israel now today. This is why most of them look like these people, because they are the same people, right? But it was this group that overwhelmingly took over and defeated the Khazars when it was time. So now the group of fake Jews and the Khazarian and Ashkenazi Jews is mixed between the Belaruses, or the Russians, or the Russes, whatever you want to call them, and the Khazarians, which is just two different groups of Esau, okay?
That's true. However, is that really the Khazars disappeared after the fall? There were some theories that may help us to determine where are the Khazars now. Some theories stated that the Khazars were not disappeared.
So for those of y'all that don't know why he's wondering if the Khazar disappeared, because that's what the Jewish man literally teaches now as a way to hide his identity. We're going to have another video in a minute that'll prove that. He basically has put out all this information stating that, and they've changed DNA. This is why a lot of the Israelites don't believe in DNA. We got brothers like Ron Dalton who have been able to break the DNA code, but for brothers that aren't really into DNA like that and can't break it and haven't been studying it as long as he has, we just stick with it's no reason to do it, because we know that Esau has found ways to literally change their DNA and the DNA markers. For example, we know that the original people in the Middle East were black people. We know that the original people of Europe, the people of Japhet, were black people, even though they weren't related to us. We know that the original Sephardic Jews were us, right? What Esau has done is he's made Khazarian blood, or DNA, equal to both the Sephardic and the regular white people of this area, to make it seem like they've always been there and that's where they're supposed to be, right? He's also done the same thing with making their DNA markers intermingle with the people of Ishmael, so that it make it seem like they've always been in the Middle East and that's where they're supposed to be. So this is what they've done with DNA and stuff like that to try to hide it. And the excuse as to where the Khazarians went, why they don't exist anymore, if you still have DNA for them, is that they disappeared. But this white man's about to tell you how they disappeared is because they intermingled with the Russes, who moved over to Europe and intermingled with the other Edomites there. And then eventually this whole group of people moved over to Israel as the Ashkenazi Jews, Germans, Polish, and all these people.
Instead, they're migrating to the west and forming the parts of the core of the Ashkenazi Jews population in Europe. According to an Israeli-born geneticist, Aaron L. Haig, he found that the Ashkenazi Jews are the European Jews. They only have 3% similarity compared with ancient ancestors, which can
connected them with the other ethnics in the Middle East.
You understand? So this Jewish man, this Jewish geneticist, before they were able to change the DNA markers, which they did it because of his information, right? He found out that looking at their DNA before it was changed, and before the DNA markers were changed, they only had 3% DNA connecting them to anybody in the Middle East, right? So this is why they had to build the Suez Canal. This is why they had to make those claims that the Khazars are gone. This is why they came over to Israel, calling themselves Ashkenazi Jews. And once they realized that that name wasn't going to hold true, because people read the Bible and realize that Ashkenaz isn't the son of Shem, they would have to, and that they couldn't use the anti-Semitic term calling themselves Ashkenazi, right? They would have to change it to Jewish. And all of that is in the Balfour Declaration. We'll point it out shortly.
This means that the DNA of the Ashkenazi Jews can be detected from an ancient Ashkenazi. Some Ashkenazis converted to Judaism before migrating to the Middle East for establishing a Jew country there. According to Aaron, an Asian DNA is also found in an Ashkenazi Jews. So it could be determined that an Asian...
Why is Asian DNA found in Ashkenazi Jews? Because of a man named Attila the Hun. If you were listening to the brother or the person in the last video, he told you that they have a capital city of Khazaria called Atil, right? Or Antil. This is because of Attila the Hun, or Attila the Hun, and the Huns moved over to that area, right? They took over the mountains. They were also cave people. So, and they were Asians, right? They moved over and took over Asia. That's why all the Asians look white, because of Attila the Hun. The Huns were actually Edomites from the same area as the Khazarians. If I'm not mistaken, they were like a sect of the Ruses. So that's what Attila is. He was he made the capital city of Khazaria, or they named it after him, Atil or Antil. And you know, that's why they have Asian blood, because all his people that were back over there in Khazaria also mixed with the Edomites, you know, that were kicked in the Caucasus Mountains. So that's why they have Asian DNA as well.
Asian DNA is actually the Khazar DNA, which converted to Judaism. Therefore, it was said that the Khazar Jews have been absorbed into the Ashkenazi Jews. This means that the Khazars were only disappeared from the history, but not for their people. Some of the Khazars were also assimilated with Turkic and Cumans. There were some figures which possibly the Khazars that have been absorbed into the Ashkenazi Jews, such as Karl Marx, Albert Einstein, Adolf Hitler, Mark Zuckerberg, and many more.
Okay, so these are all the prominent Edomites that know and have said publicly that you know, the fake Jews over there in Israel today are just that, fake Jews, right? We know Albert Einstein said it. We know that Marx said it. We know that Zuckerberg is the modern day guy that said it, and Hitler said it before him. So, whew, that was a lot. Okay. Boy, we could jump anywhere with this lesson. It's ridiculous. Let's get Revelation chapter 2, verse 9. That sounds fitting to bring out right now. Oh, we holding Obadiah, ain't we? Who got Obadiah?
I got Obadiah.
Yeah, grab Obadiah right quick. Obadiah it's only one chapter, so get verse 1.
The book of Obadiah from the top. The vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord God concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from Yahweh, and an ambassador is set among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold,
so rise up, let us rise up against her in battle, right? An ambassador to the heathen. How did Esau become the ambassador to the heathen? It should make sense now, right? Hitler's going to explain it. After World War II, they put themselves in control of all the heathen, right? Now you're the ambassador because you're the one that runs all the heathen. They weren't the ambassador when they were fighting for America. They weren't the ambassador when they were coming down from the Caucasus Mountains. They weren't the ambassador when they were building up Europe with Alexander the Great, right? They were the ambassador after they took over our identity, and they became the Jew-ish man. You understand what I'm saying? That's how they became the ambassador to the heathen. Go ahead.
Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen.
I'll show y'all all the videos when I finish the lesson. So if y'all stick around to the end, you will see the titles of all the videos. You can go watch them yourself in entirety. I'll even give you some videos that I'm not going to show because of the length of them. You can watch them and watch the information for yourself and that's how you'll get that information. But let me read this comment right quick. Yeah, I know where I can find a video that spoke. I don't know. I haven't actually looked that up. I saw somewhere when I first came into the truth that it was probably like between 600 to 600,000, but that's a big gap. So I don't know if anybody knows the real numbers that can find the real numbers of the people that died in the Holocaust. But I'll look that up to see if I can get y'all that information, and I'll bring it back next week. Go ahead, Ak.
Said, thou art greatly despised. Verse 3, the pride of thy heart have deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock.
Yeah, so the pride of their heart deceived them, right? How did it deceive them? Because they were living in the clefts of the rocks, and they got their bright idea, let's become Jews. Let's convert the whole country into Jews, right? And that's what they did in one day, right? Let's be like these merchants, these Radhanites. They speak 7 different damn languages. They're making all the money, right? We even letting them set up here in Khazarian. We had about 7 empires in Khazarian, 7 little villages, right? Living amongst Esau in his territory. You feel me? We're moving back and forth between there and the Byzantine Empire, making sure that we could, like making sure that we're the merchants and stuff like that that are making the money, keeping the relationships good between the two groups. Before that, we had all the relationships with the Asians and the Muslims, right? So that's how Muhammad, who was a camel driver, got his information that he was going to put in the Quran. He too stole it from those same Radhanites that the Khazarians got their information from, right? So everybody stole everything from us, literally. And they're still using it to this day for their advantage. And they're mad because we just found out who we actually are and we're trying to take it back. You feel me? That's what you guys have walked into. So go ahead, Ak.
Whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground?
And now they've come up out of these caves, right? And they've come and they took over the Byzantine Empire, right? So now they got Rome. From there, they already had Russia and all them places that was above the Byzantine Empire. So now they got basically damn near all of Europe, right? Except for England and Britain, all them type of stuff, France, right? We still had control of that stuff until what they called the Renaissance. So around the 1300s is when they started taking over that. The reason they were able to do that is because, as we see, from 700 to 981, right, they were moving on in through Khazarian and working their way down through the Byzantine Empire. Byzantine Empire is right next to Europe. It's Byzantine, Italy right here. You move up this way and you're in, the France, Europe, England type Western Europe area. You understand what I'm saying? So the Denmark, all them places is up there. So they right down the street, basically. Once Esau took over Rome, it was nothing for him to go and take over them other places and whitewash as they go. You understand me? Go ahead.
Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, this will I bring thee down, saith Yahweh.
Yeah, man. They liken themselves to the eagle. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all know anybody that's Russian, but there's a Russian MMA fighter named Khabib Nurmagomedov. He comes out with a damn eagle head on his head, right? It's because even to this day, they liken themselves to the eagle, right? And he's a Muslim, by the way. As I told you, the Muslims originally were Edomites, right? Muhammad is a Turk. He was a white man, not an Ishmaelite. Phil, go ahead.
Verse 5. If thieves come to thee, or Salakia, if thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough?
Right. So would they not have stolen till they had enough? Regular thieves steal till they have enough, right? Brothers in the truth don't even know that the Ashkenazi Jew term was stolen. We used to own that. The last name Schuckerberger that used to belong to Hitler before he changed it to Hitler was changed because he found out we used to own that last name. Mark Zuckerberg last name used to be a nigga's last name in Germany before his ancestors stole it. You understand what I'm telling you? They stole so much that they even stole brothers' last names, yo. It wasn't just territory. You thinking that they took your last name and gave it to you through slavery, or gave you a last name through slavery? It's brothers like what's his name? Schroeder. What's his name? What's his first name? The dang basketball player used to play for the Hawks. Schroeder. He might still play for them. He blind, huh? Dennis, right? Dennis Schroeder. Yeah, right. Dennis Schroeder don't have a slave master's last name. Dennis Schroeder is a descendant of the Israelites that was in Germany that never left Germany, and he still got the last name that he was given way back then. Schroeder is one of the last names that you can find in the book Nature Knows No Color Line. So this is what I'm telling you, right? The same thing happened in England. The same thing happened with the Europeans over there. After they took the land, they just assumed our identities, literally, right? This black boy's named Michael Brown. I'm gonna call myself Michael Brown. That's why these white folks got the last name Brown and Black. Jack Black. You think that there was a white person way back in the day that called themselves black because they wanted to be called black? No, they literally stole that crap from a black man. They stole so much that they never had enough. Keep reading.
Verse 6. How are the things of Esau searched out?
How are the things of Esau searched out? They're stolen. That was his gift. Most High gave him the gift of the sword. Right? How is he going to get the fat of the earth? Not how we was going to get it through inheritance. He was going to get the fat of the earth by the sword. What do you do with the sword? You steal stuff with it.
That's right.
Stick up. It's a robbery. Everybody put your hands in the air. You understand what I'm saying? That's what Esau has done all throughout history. And he take land all the way to your last names. He steal your dog and keep the name that you gave to your dog. We gonna call the dog Blackie. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's what Esau does. He's a thief, right? The first crime family wasn't the Borgias, it was the Edomites. Keep reading, all right?
How are his hidden things sought up? All the men of the Confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee, that they eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him.
There's none understanding in him, man, right? And there isn't going to be understanding in him, right? They don't even realize that they stole everything they have. And when you tell them, they're so prideful that they can't humble themselves down to understand it. Like Karen was telling you earlier, right? She's trying to tell her people, hey, everything we got is stolen. My name ain't even really Karen. It's because that's the thing we was talking when we was in the caves, right? So if my name is and we stole the name Karen, like we literally stole everything, bro. We ain't got nothing for ourselves. So all she's trying to do is tell the truth for once in her life, because from the womb they come speaking lies, right? That's what the scripts say, right? So like the reason they have to do that, and it has to go so far, is simply because they have stolen everything to the point that they had not enough, man. They didn't know when enough was enough. We gonna steal the land. Should we take the last names too? Since you know they do have a family crest with the last name on it. To say that we own the land, we should at least take the crest. Okay, let's take the last name. Fine. You know what? It's a nigga on this crest. Should we paint the? You know what? Let's turn the crest into a like a knight on a horse, but don't show what the knight face look like. Put him in full armor, right? Because they know that they're not the people of the land. If we look up a family here, let's do an experiment right quick. European family crest. All right. Damn. They messed up with this one. Ooh-wee. Google algorithms, boy, I tell you. They didn't show me the truth on accident. All right, look. I just typed in European family crest, and the second picture is a Negro. Look at that. But everything else here, as you see, is a knight with full armor on and no faces showing, right? Because, except this one. They couldn't hide this one. Whoever got the last name Benz, that ain't a slave last name. That's your real last name. But yeah, but you see here, okay, so this is the only picture they got with two Edomites. But see, they don't have no last name. So this is the family crest, right? This is how Edom did after they took the land from us. Because we all had flags with our crest on it. Oh, damn, this is a black man too. I guess they can't hide it. Because that damn sure is a Negro right there on the top. And his last name is Moore. You see that? And he's from Germany. Look at that. So, but as you see, all the rest of these, right, they all got full armor on. So that's just a little thing. I learned that when I was in elementary school. I had a teacher tell me that. She didn't think we was going to remember it, but Most High didn't remember it. So, yeah, man. All right. Keep what verse you on?
Verse 8.
I think I want you to read the 10. Keep going.
Verse 8.
Yeah.
Shall I not in that day, saith Yahweh, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau? Verse 9. And that mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed, to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter.
How do you think they're going to be dismayed and that no understanding is going to be found in them, right? They literally going to be confounded is the word that should have been used there, right? When they found out that their families have inherited lies. That scripture is in the Bible literally because of the amount of lies that they've inherited. We think it's just, oh, you're American, you know what I mean? Y'all think y'all been in Europe the whole time. No, y'all come from the Caucasus Mountains. No, bruh. Their last name was stolen. The white guy you know next door, Mr. White, he not Mr. White. He's Mr. You feel what I'm saying? Because the Moors will tell you, right? Even the last name White, it was a social system, a social construct. So we used to be the white people and they used to be the black people. I don't know where that makes sense, but that's what they say.
All right.
So if that's the case, right? I mean, the last name White was stolen. The term white was stolen. If that's the case, that means that they didn't used to call themselves white people. They stole that after they took over, right? Again, I don't know if that's true, but I'm just saying. That's robbery. That's theft. So keep going.
Verse 10. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob.
For the theft against your brother Jacob, right? For rape, robbery, and murder. Go ahead.
Shame shall cover thee.
Shame is going to cover you because of how many lies you inherited, and the amount of them is going to confound you, right? Karen was feeling shame. That's why she said, after I found out the truth, something just came over me and I had to just speak it. That was shame. You know what I'm saying? Shame is what's going to make all of them drop down to their knees when it's time and kiss all of our feet. Right? Keep reading 10 and then Judah, give me Revelations 2 and 9.
For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever.
You're going to be cut off forever, yo. You understand? Because of the amount of rape, robbery, and murder that you've committed on this earth. It's unthinkable how much crap that they've lied about, man. Like I said, you're lying all the way down to your last name. Somebody grab Psalm 49 and 11 for the brother too. It's a good precept. I actually got that one written down. But Revelation 2 and 9.
It's about Revelation chapter 2, verse 9. I know thy works, the tribulation, the poverty, but thou art rich.
I know thy work, tribulation, and poverty, but thou art rich. This is obviously to the real Israelites, right? Because the only tribulation that the so-called Jewish, well, no, not the so-called, the Jewish man, right? The only tribulation that they went through would be the Holocaust, the Holocaust, right? And if you want to call that tribulation, let's check out some numbers right quick, right? Let's say, let's get them the number they want. 6 million of you crackers died in the Holocaust, right? Let's say 77 million Native American Indians and Hispanics were killed just here in America. Let's say 100 million so-called Negroes was killed just on the way to America, right? Whether in Africa on the ship or before they got to the shores. So that's 177 million as opposed to 6. Where's our Holocaust? Where's our Anne Frank book that you're going to teach about every single year? Because you know that's where this whole Holocaust thing came from, right? The Anne Frank. That's what it's from. That's the book that they make you read. Every single kid in the United States education system has to read that book at some point in school and learn about the Holocaust. Learn about Hitler was a bad guy, right? What they don't tell you, why was Hitler doing this stuff? Why would Hitler feel that he has to do what he did as far as killing his own people, putting them in gas chambers, putting them in heat chambers to burn them? You know why he said he was putting them in the heat chambers? He said, you niggas want to be niggas?
Right.
I'm going to let you be niggas then. Fire them up. And he put them in the gas chamber and let them scream to death until they turn black. Because he's like, y'all want to be black? Then let's make you black. You know what I'm saying?
Black.
You gonna be black? They not even black, but we gonna make you black. You know what I'm saying?
Well done. Hey, Salaki.
Go ahead.
Hey, have y'all ever seen the movie Freedom Riders?
I have.
Now, check this out, right? It was about a whole bunch of people in the inner city, you know what I'm saying? A whole bunch of Jake, you know, some Ephraimites and some people from Issachar. And then they had a couple of Moabites in there, like they were from the hood or something like that, right? Now check this out. The teacher was trying to, you know, get to the kids because the kids weren't feeling her. So she was trying to get through to them. So y'all saw how she tried to basically get them to read about the Holocaust, and then had the daggone Israelites that was in there feeling bad for the people who was in the Holocaust, calling the lady her hero, and the whole nine, trying to get them to feel bad about the Holocaust, equate the Holocaust to them being in the hood. But it was only a few 100,000 of them that died, and hundreds of millions of us died.
You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
And that's what the facts say. I have seen the number 600,000 somewhere, but I don't know where they got the information. That's why we don't quote it like that. But all of us have seen it. You probably can't find it on the internet now, because like I told you, since the truth maybe 4 years ago wasn't as big on the internet as it is right now, right? 4 years ago, you type in Hebrew Israelite, a picture of ISUPK pop up. They all got weapons in their hands, axes and stuff like that. They're trying to make them look scary, and they're saying, these are the black Hebrew Israelites. They're a cult and all this other crap, right? They got a black and white picture of them at Passover, taking a picture with some props in their hand, but they making it seem like we just a bunch of fat black brothers that be trying to, you know what I'm saying? Like, so they did them dirty, bro. So look, because you've seen ISUPK videos before, right? They'll scream at you and stuff, but it ain't like they throwing axes on the street, right? But when you look at that article, that's what they make it seem like, right? And then they play the little clips when they the Jamaican brother in DC is calling a white woman a cave BIT, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So he did all that, and that's what you would find 4 years ago when you come into the truth, right? When you first looking it up. So that would be their internet deter method to, okay, yeah, niggas don't want to be racist. Let's make the first thing that pop up a racist article on the black Hebrew Israelites, right? And then maybe nobody else will look at the other ones. But for the Shuckleberger. So, but for the ones that weren't able or were too smart and weren't able to get caught by that first little article and decided to keep looking, right? They ended up finding what you see now. Now you type in Hebrew Israelite. Let's see what we get when we type in Hebrew Israelite. Let's just do an experiment. One more. Hebrew Israelites. Let me share the screen right quick. Let's see what we find. Because it's probably gonna be more the same, because you know, Esau be keeping up with the times. Look at that. See, I typed in Hebrew Israelites, and the first thing that popped up, Black Hebrew Israelites Wikipedia page, right? Go ahead.
But why they trying to demean us in the whole nine? You type in Hebrew Israelites, they telling you right there off the top, they black.
Right? Facts. But the thing is, Negroes, Stockholm Syndrome, you know what I'm saying, ain't gonna look at that like that. So the first one, we got Black Hebrew Israelites, right? Black Hebrew Israelites are groups of African Americans who believe they are the descendants of the ancient Israelites to varying degrees, right? So that's the first thing you see before you click on the article, right? If somebody, I could just say straight up, the coons in my family alone, they would read this and be like, it's a hoax. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. And then look, the second article, SPL Center, right? Southern Poverty Law Center.org. This is the Jewish Man's Center, right? History of Hebrew Israelism. So they've coined vocab McNuts term, right? Huh? So no vocab. They've coined his term, Hebrew Israelism, right? As if it's a religion, right? Like Judaism. So this is no longer a nationality, according to the Southern Poverty Law Center. Now it's, you know, it's a hoax. It's a religion. These niggas, look. The Hebrew Israelite movement is rooted in Black Judaism, right? So not regular Judaism, but Black Judaism, because the real Judaism is white Judaism or just Judaism. So it makes it less credible when you got black in the front of it, right? So now it's a movement that's rooted from something that's already fake, Black Judaism. You understand what I'm saying? I went to I saw Moab today, right? To go get my mom some food. I had my chain on. Moab's like, oh, you practice the Jewish faith, huh? Jewish faith, huh? And I'm like, yeah, I guess if you want to say that. Because I didn't want to get all into the crowd. I'm trying to go, right? I had to go make the lesson and stuff. And he's like, oh, so you Black Jew. And I'm like, all right. So I stopped. I was like, no. Real Jews black, huh? And then I left. So that just go to show you, right? Black Jew, as if, first he's, you practice Jewish faith, but that's not enough. Then it's, you Black Jew. So now it's weird to be a Black Jew, as if being a Black person and a Jew is not common. You understand what I'm saying? So this wording here by the Southern Poverty Law Center is just what they want, because they know that even to a Black person, Judaism isn't normally behind the word Black. So a Black person in the Christian church isn't going to look at this as something they can latch onto. They're going to look at it as, this is just another religion. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Pentecostal and these niggas is Black Jews. That's all it is. You understand what I'm saying? That's how they're going to look at it. Next, we got the, what ADL stand for? I forget. Damn it. Anti-Defamation League. There it is. This is also a Jewish league, right? Or like a Jewish, report. These are the people who have YouTube shadow banning us right now as we speak. It says there are reports that the alleged perpetrators may have been members of the Black Hebrew Israelite movement. So this is an article from December 10, 2019, where they're probably talking about a robbery or something like that, or somebody being killed, and they're trying to blame it on Black Hebrew Israelites. So this is, where they're getting that from. Right? Yeah. So December, okay. So the people killing police. This is the same article. December 10th, it happened, 2019. Here's another one from CNN, December 12th. Same type of information, right? A man suspected of killing a police officer and 3 people at the kosher market. Y'all remember that? Is a suspected member of the Black Hebrew Israelites. But CNN also put out an article a couple of days before this saying that he wasn't tied to the Hebrew Israelites. So, this is what the white man does. You type in Hebrew Israelite, everywhere from Wikipedia to New York Times is telling you that they're Black Hebrew Israelites and that it's a religion, Hebrew Israelism and stuff, right? So This is the type of stuff we have to deal with. This is why we're putting this video out, right? Because if we don't, our people, like Nick Cannon, right, aren't going to have anything to back themselves up with. You understand what I'm saying? People like Deshaun Jackson will have nothing to back themselves up with. Who knows? The next celebrity, because we know there are football players that stood on this stuff. Jamal Charles used to be a prominent football player.
Right.
The best running back that the Kansas City Chiefs ever had, ever. You understand what I'm saying? In my opinion. So
that's another one too. He on it hard too.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. And the brother walks around, he put fringes on. Himself and his son used to wear him before his last, I think in his last year in the league or whatever, was wearing fringes at the games and stuff like that.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? But that's when they stopped showing him before and after the games. You know how they let the best player on the team do the press conferences? The dang running back who got all your stats and all your records is no longer allowed to speak after the press conferences. Larry Johnson was on the same team as Jamal Charles. So if Larry woke up, he woke up because of Jamal. Larry Johnson was the wide receiver. Jamal Charles was the running back. So I can believe that. Kansas City Chiefs. So y'all have your videos saved to hard drive? These videos, maybe. I don't know. Probably. They should be because our channel been deleted before. So I wouldn't put it past Joel. I think he saved everything now at this point. But yeah, right. So but yeah, man. I mean, a lot of people have woken up and stood on the truth, right? But you also haven't seen Larry Johnson or Jamal Charles actually make no public statements since any of this crap has happened either. They haven't come out and backed up Steven Jackson. They haven't come and backed up Deshaun Jackson. They haven't come and backed up Nick Cannon, right? They're staying quiet right now because whatever little money they are making, I guarantee you, Jewish man is tied to it. The gift destroyed the heart. So even though Jamal Charles could walk around with fringes on, he still isn't able to speak truth. You feel what I'm saying? He could put the fringes on, and everybody with the fringes on know about it, right? Like we seen the video, young Scooter. His cousin was at the dang house one time with the fringes on. Young Scooter make a whole video making fun of the shit. Look at this junk this man got on his shirt. He got the junk that grandma got on the bottom of her curtains and stuff like that on the bottom of his shirt. You know what I'm saying? Young Scooter's making fun of the junk, but it eventually woke him up. He's still not able to come and say nothing about it. Mm-hmm. And he's a gangster rapper. Like ain't nobody gonna believe this nigga anyway if he say something. You know what I'm saying? He's a trap star in Atlanta, but he still feel like if I say something about this junk, the little bit of money that I make, I'm still not gonna get it, right? Future make this song Black Jew. I ain't really hear it, so I don't know if it was about Black Jews, but I know he still got blonde hair, so it don't matter. But anyway, right? He ain't say, hey, I made my song and, you know, this, that, and the other. He can't do it. Kendrick Lamar made a whole album, had his cousin speaking about his being Israelites. He didn't come out and say nothing to back them up. You feel what I'm saying? It's because of the situation that we in. Larry Johnson on Twitter bringing it up. Somebody show me. He can't be bringing too much out if he ain't hit the headlines yet. People know who Larry Johnson is.
Right.
Yeah, Khan, Young Scooter, that dude signed the 2 Chainz, the one that sounded like a retard too. They both sound retarded. Sorry, y'all. But let's play another video while we looking. I was gonna get a preset, but I play this one. Oh yeah, get that song right.
Book of Psalms, chapter 49, verse 11. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. Mm-hmm. They call their lands after their own names.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. They call their lands after their own names, and they steal the last names of other people. So that's how they do. It's Esau, man. And that whole scripture, I could prove that that's true because it was a Slavic Edomite I was talking to, right? He wanted to debate, but then he backed out of it last minute today. So he was so proud. He hit me with the, how'd you feel about your black brothers and sisters selling your people into slavery? And, you know, we're the Slavic people and we're winners. And I'm like, hey, you know what Slavic means, right? He's like, Slavic means winner. I said, no, Slavic means slave, you idiot.
Slavic
So
means winner.
that means y'all was slaves. You know who you were slaves to, dumb butt, right? And he's like, we were slaves to our own people. I said, oh, so how'd you feel about your white brothers and sisters selling you into slavery? And then he had nothing to say. So you just gotta be cunning with them sometimes. You know what I'm saying? That's all. But check this out, because the most cunning Edomite of them all, in my opinion, was Hitler. Hitler was very cunning. And if he would have lived today, you know what I'm saying? I'm not in no way, shape, or form saying he would have been an advocate for us, because he wouldn't have been. He was killing them for trying to be us. Remember that. But Hitler would have made it a lot easier for us to wake up. Like, if Hitler didn't get killed in 45, wouldn't have been no civil rights movement in 65. Because Martin Luther King still would have had this mindset of Malcolm X at the time, right? He would have been about autonomy instead of assimilation. So that's gathering yourself together instead of, you know, Stockholm syndrome, civil rights. So, but check this out, right? This is the book. In fact, I'll show you how the book in a minute. But the book that this brother's gonna come out of is the book that I was telling y'all about last week, that Hitler actually has his quote in that Deshaun Jackson posted, right? This book not only has the quote, but if any of y'all have seen the video clip on YouTube, it's an actual video that Hitler was showing to his soldiers, right? When the soldier asked him that question about the Negroes being the Jews. The reason he asked is because Hitler is showing a slideshow with a power, with one of them projector, them old school projectors that they had in the high schools and stuff, right? He's using one of them joints, the older version of it with the like sliding pictures and stuff, right? To almost show them a movie of who the real Israelites are and who the bastard is that they're going against. So they put all of this stuff. One of them former Nazis put the whole slideshow and pictures from the slideshow in a book, right? Called The Nazis in World War II or something like that. So we're gonna let ISUBK, since they had the book, we're gonna let them show you some stuff from it, and then I'm gonna show you the book and where you could get it, because they recently rose up the price, ironically, over the weekend, since Deshaun Jackson said what he said.
Righteous are the countenance of the Almighty One.
The page is on 126 of the book. If you have the book, it's on page 126.
Righteous walk in the countenance of the Almighty One. Who people see hostility rising daily.
Ausgerechnet dieser Abraham, Isaac und Jakob galten als Träger.
Hey, Slacky, well, if Larry Johnson going hard on the Twitter, that's why they ain't showing him, because he's going hard. You understand me? It's either two things that Esau gonna do, right? If you're a celebrity, like I guess Larry Johnson, all praises, right? Who's gonna be outspoken about the truth and really stand on what you believe in, and they know they can't censor you because you're making your own money and stuff like that, and you're not afraid because you know the gift ain't destroy your heart. That's when they get to the point where they either got to shadow ban you, or you know, just make sure that your stuff never hits the mainstream. Period. So Esau has ways of doing that. They have algorithms now that they've created recently where they can shadow ban people, meaning ban you from getting notifications and ban your videos from being seen without having to notify you about it. So it's like being put in Facebook jail without them having to send you the notification that you're in Facebook jail and can't nobody see your post or your comments or nothing like that, right? They do that now on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter, right? To try, it started with the fake news joint from the coronavirus thing, right? But they were testing that as a way to see if they could shut us down. This is going to be one of the methods that they use to start the famine of the word, right? Through the internet. And once they realized that the internet isn't what really got this thing going, it was us standing on the streets and people recording us standing on the streets and putting it on the internet. That's when they're going to stop us from being on the streets, and that's when they're going to kick off. So here we go.
Einer besonders hohen Moral und als Idealbilder edelsten Menschentums.
This is Hitler speaking, for those of you that don't know. This is a slideshow. He's showing you the white folks now, and then he's going to get to showing you, you know, what they're supposed to look like.
Wir haben inzwischen sehen gelernt und wissen jetzt, dass die Hebräer der biblischen Geschichte so nicht ausgesehen haben können.
So he said that the Negroes of the Bible couldn't have looked like this. And if you heard the word he just used, he said Ashkenazim, right? So he's trying to tell you that the Hebrews of the Bible don't look like these white Jews here. Okay? Go ahead.
Wir müssen unser Geschichtsbild korrigieren.
Read on. In one segment of a Nazi instructional film, the genetic heritage of the Jew is purportedly traced.
So now he's reading the book. I don't know what page he's on because he's not going to read Hitler's quote, but he's reading the book that I'm going to show you. And he's on the slideshow part where they're talking about the movie.
Okay, so he got a slide here of this is what is on the film right here. This is what's on the film. Okay? This is what's in one of these films. Tell them what you saw. Trace to Oriental. Trace to Oriental. Okay? This is an anti-Semitic film. Trace to Oriental. That's code word for black. You understand?
For those of y'all that don't know, I know you're probably thinking, no, Oriental means Asian. That's where niggas start calling themselves Asiatics, right? The Asiatic black man. Because we found out in the 90s that we was the Orientals, right? Oriental was a word that they was using back when Hitler was around to describe niggas, right? From the Middle East, or what they were calling Asia Minor at the time, right? So hence the word Oriental.
The first people that ran over into the far east was the black man. You understand? The Hebrews was over there as well. Okay? Oriental. So this film said the genetic heritage of the Jew. This is taught by Adolf Hitler and the Germans who were getting rid of the so-called Jewish people. He said that they were Oriental, read on, Negro, they were Negroes. Adolf Hitler said that the Jews were black.
So, as the brother just said, Adolf Hitler said that the Jews were black. He's telling his soldiers in his slideshow that the real Jews don't look like these people, right? They're really Oriental or Negro.
Ausgerechnet dieser Abraham, Isaak und Jakob galten als Träger einer besonders hohen Moral und als Idealbilder edelsten Menschentums. Wir haben inzwischen sehen gelernt und wissen jetzt, dass die Hebräer der biblischen Geschichte so nicht ausgesehen haben können. Wir müssen unser Geschichtsbild korrigieren.
Saying that the white man calling himself Jewish is not white. That's what he's saying. But he's black. But he's
So for those of you that can't catch what Hitler was showing in that clip, that's probably the only clip from the video that you can find online. And when it comes to the quote, you could hear Hitler saying the quote online, but you can't see the video part. That's how they mixed it up to try to make it seem like it was fake. So this part that the brother just said basically proves that he knew that we were the Jews, right? That he knew that the Jews were Negroes. So yeah. And he's trying to teach you basically, not just you, but white people at this time, really, in the soldiers of the Soviet Union. He's trying to teach them to change their worldview, literally, their historical view, to think not that, it was white people that was superior and everything. There was really the Negroes that are the real Jews and everything. So he's letting them know, because at this time, people knew that the Jews had control at the whole world at some point. This is why if they could get a nation of Jews back in Israel, these people would be able to take control of the world again, which is what the whole fight was, right? The Balfour Declaration started in 1917. Hitler's telling his soldiers this stuff probably in like 1943. You understand what I'm saying? So the Balfour Declaration is already in place. They're just a couple years at this point from moving the fake Jews into Israel. That's why he's ramping up the knowledge and trying to really teach his people, hey, these aren't really the fake Jews. I mean, these are really the fake Jews, So don't feel bad about what we're doing to them, because these people are impersonating the identity of the real people. And if you remember the quote that he said that he was trying to save Germany because he was afraid that if he didn't kill these fake Jews, that the God of the Bible was going to punish Germany as he punished Egypt. So he's trying to save himself. You know what I'm saying? This was a extreme way of cleaving, if you want to call it that. Kind of like the white boy just said, right? If we could do something to make the Most High happy where he might save us, we're going to do it. And Hitler's way of doing that was killing the fake Jews who we found out stole his identity, or stole our identity, because he was one of those people, right? So let's continue.
Let me show you these pictures. Anything else he said? Hence the film concludes. The Jew is a bastard. It's the film, the anti-Semitic film that Adolf Hitler put up, said that the Jew, the white man calling himself Jewish, is a bastard. He's a bastard. This is what was in this anti-Semitic propaganda film put up by Adolf Hitler. That's what he was saying, that the Jews are black. He burnt them daggone Jewish people and others because they wanted to be black. You understand?
JH 125, the quote is real and it can be substantiated. It's in the book that the brother's reading. What's more substantial than an Edomite putting it in a book? Right? And he's giving you the video. You could find the video and actually hear Hitler speak the words. If you speak German, if you speak German and you can find an Edomite that speaks German or a brother that speaks German, he can literally validate the words to you and explain to you, yeah, Hitler said that the Jews is black. It was translated. You can still find the audio online if you look for it. It's on YouTube. So if you find it, this is the exact same audio that they translated the words from in order to put it in this book. And I told you in this book, they're not going to show it in this video, but in this book he's reading on page 126. If you go into the quote that the actual picture that Deshaun Jackson posted on his Twitter, it has the picture, if I'm not mistaken, he has the picture, the page number and all that stuff in the picture with the quote from the book. It's a page number. It's not like a meme. He has the actual picture of the book in the page that the quote is from, and he highlighted it to show you that it's actually in the book. So it's 100% real. Don't think we made this up.
So he gave it to him. He gave it to him. Okay? Any more on that? The Jew is a bastard. The film concludes that the Jew is a bastard. Now come and look at the archaeology. This is an old film made by Adolf Hitler and his people. Let me show you this thing right here. Look at that picture right there. Come on up here and look at this picture of what Adolf Hitler said the Jews look like. He got pictures in here. Oriental, that look like a black man to me. That's Coldberg. They got a museum called the Oriental Museum, and all they got is Israelite artifacts in the damn thing.
You see, because like I said, the Oriental Museum was the museum that they put in the Middle East where they're supposed to show Asiatic artifacts, right? These Asiatics that they're showing are people of the Levant region who we know are the Israelites, right? That's us. Fertile Crescent, the space between Egypt and the Middle East. So that's that, right? We were the people in that area. We the Orientals, we the black folks, the Asiatic black man, the Moors, you know what I'm saying, the Levant people, we the Israelites. That's what we are. All right?
That's Goldberg. That's Goldberg. You see this one right here? This one says nigger, right? That one says nigger. Then this one right here is supposed to be the Near Asian. Those is artifacts that you see on the walls in all kinds of icons that show that the original Jews were black. And then it says Hamitic right there, meaning that he's showing the face of a black man, that the Jews were black. That's what Adolf Hitler said to the Soviets.
Yeah, the reason it says Semitic is because of, I forget his name, but the German scientists who did the whole Negroid, Mongoloid, Caucasoid thing, they still had the belief that even if we were the Jews, we were still Hamitic Jews because, you know, all black people were supposed to be from Africa back then. So that's why he put it in the PowerPoint like that. Just, yeah.
White man calling himself Jewish. And he called.
Verschworenes Dogma von Menschengleichheit hatte den gesunden Instinkt des Volkes getrübt. Mehrhundertjährige religiöse Erziehung hatte die europäischen Christen gelehrt, in den Juden einen Volksgenossen des Stifters der christlichen Religion zu sehen.
Gegenwärtige deutsche Künstler und Dichter hatten ihre Idealvorstellungen in die biblischen Gestalten der hebräischen Stammesgeschichte hineingelegt.
So they just showing you from the beginning of it, and they're gonna play it against the end. So he's basically telling you that they idolized the people of the Bible, the patriarchs of the Bible, and then decided to paint them in their own image and stuff. And then he's gonna tell them that they gotta change their worldview because the real people that look like this weren't white; they were actually Negroes. So that's from Hitler himself. So without further ado, oh, let me show you the book. Skip, damn, where'd it go? All right, I don't know if I can see it. Might have to zoom in. Okay. Yeah. So the Nazis, World War II, right? I believe the book now is $125, and they might not have a lot left because they're not gonna let you get the book. So yeah. Good book to get though. All right. What else do I want to pull?
You forget about the Balfour Declaration.
Yeah, I'm getting that right now. I'm trying to see where. Okay, here we go. I had to find out where it was. All right. So y'all gotta bear with me here because I'm gonna have to read it. And like I said, it's screenshots from a very old Galaxy phone that no longer exists. So y'all gotta bear with me. All right. Okay. I think that's as much as I'm gonna be able to zoom in. It don't look like I'm able to zoom in more. So sorry if y'all can't read it. But starting at April 20th, 1946, hold up, did I zoom in too much? Can't even. Here we go. All right, let me see if I can move to show y'all what the first. Okay, so I wanted to show this first. This is the page of what they call the Truman Library, right? It no longer looks like this. The version that I'm showing you was made in 1997. Before I go into this, just so y'all can see how Esau is crafty, right? Brother started bringing this information out a couple years ago. We brought it out at camp, if I'm not mistaken, when we was with HOI. And another camp did the same thing. The next thing you know, they changed the whole library. Okay. All right, let me share this. If y'all go to the Truman Library on Google or whatever your search browser is, TrumanLibrary.org, right? For those of y'all don't know, Harry Truman, punk behind, was a president of the United States. He's also the president that made it possible for the United States to get involved in World War II and help the Jewish man because he had a Jewish friend named Weiserman, Mark Weiserman, if I'm not mistaken. This Mark Weiserman was the head of the Zionist movement who was working with Mr. Balfour, who got him to sign the Balfour Declaration, and he eventually became the first leader of the nation state of Israel. So Harry Truman was the presidential traitor to the Israelites. All right. So this is the Truman Library. As y'all see, oh dang. Okay, so they rechanged this junk. They're reopening it again. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. All right, so look. They changed up the whole Truman Library on July 22nd, 2019, right? But it's still closed because the museum is expected to reopen in fall of 2020. So the reason why they keep closing this library and stuff is because this is the only library where you could find the connections between the Balfour Declaration and the documents and the weight and the connections that America had, right? The reason why is because this is the president who was involved during the time. So what they do is they have each president has a library, right? If you know any of the conspiracies or the things that was going on during the time of a president's time in office, like for example, the big thing in Obama's library is going to be Pizzagate. So when it's when his library is created, because Truman was a president in the 40s, and this didn't get made the first time. It didn't become public until 1997. So took them some years to make this public because they had to decide what they wanted to put in there. At the time, they didn't think anybody was going to be really going deep and digging deep to fight the Jewish nation state of Israel. So they put it in there. And I happened to find it when I came into the truth. It was still there. So I took my screenshots, not knowing that it was going to be changed, and it got changed. So 2019, they changed it. Now, if you go to the library collections, let's see if we could type in Balfour Declaration. Balfour Declaration. Probably spelled it wrong. I don't care. All right. You see this? This is what they've done with the information on the site. There is no information on the site. You know what I'm saying? Look, you get a short list of timestamps, right? Mideast Powder, 1948, Truman Speaks, Mideast Baptist. So they're giving you Jewish Holocaust, needed homeland. So now they're telling you timestamps of things, but they're not actually showing you any of the things that happened, right? In a minute, when I show you the picture, you're going to see that they actually gave you 4 years ago. They gave you the timestamp, they gave you the date, the time, they gave you the full excerpt or synopsis of what happened and all of that crap. But in 2019, because Jared Kushner, the Jewish man, found out that we was getting close to finding out and making it public for the world to see on the United States' own government website that the fake Jews are fake Jews and that it still says so on the internet, they decided to change it. So they went through a whole reconstruction of the Harry Truman Library, and I promise you, before COVID-19, it didn't even look this bad because you were still able to find some things on the Truman Library for the Balfour Declaration, but now you can't find anything. So. What happened? Oh, I can't see nothing. What am I supposed to see?
Hey, what's up? I think so you can see it. You can see. You want to get a notification.
Oh, I still didn't get a notification. You got one. That's good, but I still didn't.
When you come in the building.
They've been liking it. That's my pops, y'all. Shalom. Big Gad in the building. Okay, so yeah, but this thing here don't even like this is not what the site used to look like. So they basically changed up everything. But let's get into it so I can show y'all what type of information they've been trying to hide from you, right? Yeah, trying to hide information. That's right. All right, so Salakia. I'm just trying to pull up every time. Okay. All right, let's go back to. I'm not gonna go through too much of this because this is a lot to read. But as you can clearly see, they got timestamps and synopsis. They're telling you what happened, right? So we're gonna start April 20th, 1946. It says the Anglo-American Committee of Inquiry submits its report, which recommends that Britain immediately authorize the admission of 100,000 Jews into Palestine. So for those of you that can't realize what's going on here, they realized, okay, we just killed Hitler. They killed Hitler in 1945, right? We're running out of time, and these Palestinians are getting pissed off because now they see that they don't have no way to defend the land that we stole or that we're trying to steal because we just killed Hitler. He's the last line of defense for the Palestinians, right? Because he's been the one trying to kill all the Jewish people. Hitler's plan was, if we could kill enough of these crackers, they won't be able to move into Israel because there won't be enough of them to go there, right? Even if they do go there, the Palestinians and the rest of the Arabs will wipe them out. But that didn't get to happen because after they killed Hitler, they immediately signed a mandate, right? Because for those of you that don't know, the whole Balfour Declaration, I probably need to play that first. The whole Balfour Declaration was a document signed to give complete power and ownership to of Palestine, or Israel, what they call Israel today, to give all of that to Britain. So before we go into that, let's get a 2-minute synopsis of what the Balfour Declaration was. I should have played this before I showed y'all that. All right, here we go from Al Jazeera News itself.
A man of the British establishment, in 1917, Arthur Balfour was Foreign Secretary, his country fighting the First World War on many fronts, including in what the British called the Holy Land, against the Ottoman Turks, when Balfour issued his fateful declaration.
His Majesty's government view with favour the establishment in Palestine of a national home for the Jewish people, and will use their best endeavours to facilitate the achievement of this object, it being clearly understood that nothing shall be done which may prejudice the civil and religious rights of existing non-Jewish communities in Palestine, or the rights and political status enjoyed by Jews in any other country.
You see that? So he basically signed a piece of paper that gave rights to that gave Jewish people the rights to Palestine, and took away the rights of non-Jewish communities in Palestine. Meaning anybody living there, you no longer have the rights to be there because we gonna be moving it. That's basically what they did, right? 67 words, changed the whole course of history.
The British government wasn't thinking about Arabs when it made that declaration.
And look, the Most High makes it manifest. Ian Black. Ian Black.
Was thinking about its immediate goals for the war, for the aftermath of the war, about propaganda, about rivalry, and also securing for itself a loyal population in Palestine. The Suez Canal, the route to India, the imperial context is terribly important to understand what was happening back then in 1970.
But for the Arab majority, Balfour's promise, however vague, was a betrayal. In the 20s and 30s, Britain governed Palestine as a League of Nations mandate and discovered that Balfour's declaration had not balanced the demands of Jewish and Palestinian nationalism, it had exacerbated them.
He said Britain discovered, as if Balfour wasn't a damn Brit. He's representing Britain when he makes the 67 words and types them up and puts them on this piece of paper that exacerbated the rights of the Palestinians and the Britons and separated them that much from each other, right? When he says exasperated, he's talking about how the Jewish man basically got 100% rights to the land, and the Palestinians who were already living there didn't get any rights to it, which is why they started fighting. Because they're like, for those of you that don't know, when the man Nasir Gamal, when he made a statement about the Israelites being black, he wasn't actually making a statement that we were the Israelites. He was trying to say his people were the Israelites. Well, not really the Israelites, but the people that had claim to the land, right? He's trying to say the real Israelites were black, and we closer to black than y'all closer to black. So we can't accept y'all because, we want that land. You feel what I'm saying? He wasn't trying to say they black and y'all not black and we not black. It's their land or whatever. They was trying to say, hey, y'all not black, we closer to black than y'all are, even though we not black, so we want the land because the real Jews is black. That's what they were trying to say. So, moving on.
By the time the British left, with the foundation of Israel in 1948, they were despised by many on both sides.
With the creation of the State of Israel and the Palestinian Nakba that resulted from that, the consequences are still with us all today, and Palestinians do see a direct link. You talk to Palestinians, they say the Israeli occupation today, now in its just marked its 50th year, is a direct result of what happened 50 years before that, in 1917.
All right, so we don't gotta read or listen to no more of boring old Ian. So get back into.
Did you see?
I have not heard of that book, but it sounds like it's another 13 tribe type book where they're talking about how the Jews just took over stuff. Is that what it's about? JH 125?
Yo, I don't want to that point. What he's talking about, it's in that video that I wanted to bring out if we have enough time.
All right, that's a bit.
Yeah.
We probably will, because I'm not gonna be showing too much of these. If y'all want these screenshots of the Balfour Declaration, email me or something, and I'll see if I get them to you. Don't mind the timestamps and all that type of crap. And the Facebook icons and email symbols and stuff. Anyway, so here I'm not sharing. All right, y'all can see that, right, Judah?
Come.
Okay. So moving on. All right, so yeah, as we saw, April 20th, 46, after they killed Hitler, a couple months after that, they automatically ordered the admission of 100,000 Jews into Palestine. May 8th, 46, right? About 2 weeks later, President Truman writes to Prime Minister, I can't see that, citing the report of the Anglo-American Committee of Inquiry and expecting the hope that the Britain would begin lifting the barriers to the Jewish immigration to Palestine. So it wasn't just the Balfour Declaration and the Brits that had something to do with this, right? Because America at the time had more control over the earth than Britain. You know what I'm saying? So it only works if the two most powerful nations on the planet back the Jewish man. They already had Britain because Britain is who started the Balfour Declaration in 1917. Balfour himself was a Brit. He's not an American, right? Truman was the American that got on board, the president of America, right? And he recites the letter from the Anglo-American Committee, meaning the white American Committee, right? The angelic American Committee. That's what they're trying to call themselves, as if they've assumed the identity of the angelic sons of Isaac, not the Anglo-Saxon, but the Anglo-American. You understand what I'm saying? That's the pride of the white man. They knew who they were back then. So, September 24th, 96, the Council of the President Clark Clifford writes to the president to warn that the Soviet Union wishes to achieve complete economic, military, and political dominion in the Middle East, right? So even though Hitler dies, they still want to get complete dominion over the Middle East because they're trying to stop these Jewish people from being able to move over there. They know that they're going to lose their world power and dominance if America gets to move these fake Jews over there. And eventually it wouldn't work, right? Let's jump down to October 28th. President Truman writes to the King of Saudi Arabia, informing the king that he believes that a nation home for the Jewish people should be established in Palestine. So the Saudi Arabian king was also backing the Britons and America. And guess who? What nation in the Middle East America is still cool with to this day that they have all their oil agreements with? Saudi Arabia, right? So that's that. Hold up. All right, so it says, okay, so 47 and 48 says the White House receives, between the years of 47 and 48, the White House received 48,600 telegrams, 790,575 cards, and 81,200 other pieces of mail, right? Ain't no internet at the time. So crackers in the White House, in the government agencies, have to physically go through and read all these pieces of paper. That's the equivalent of getting like 50 million emails on Twitter or something like that. 50 million DMs or retweets or something. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's the equivalent of. So it's basically so much paper trail coming at the White House and these government agencies that they have to do something about it, right? This is how persistent Esau was with what he wanted. He wanted to steal our identity this bad that he sent 48,600 telegrams, 790,575 cards, 81,200 other pieces of mail on the subject of them moving just 100,000 crackers to Palestine. Just 100,000 of them. You feel? February 7th, 47, the British government announces that it will terminate the mandate for Palestine. Why? So for those of you that don't realize, Britain in February 7th, 1947, terminates their Balfour Declaration, which gave them the rights to Palestine, so that America could have their own Balfour Declaration and give rights to Palestine. Yeah, so April 2nd, the British government submits the General Assembly of the United Nations, which is why the United Nations was created, so that they could, get Britain, get the fake Jews in there. An account of its administration of Palestine under the League of Nations mandate, and asked the General Assembly to make recommendations regarding the future government of Palestine. So now who is going to regard, or who is going to have control over the future government of Palestine, or this future government of the nation state of Israel, as it was going to be called, right? The United Nations, May 13th, 47, United Nations General Assembly appoints an 11-nation special committee on Palestine to study the Palestinian problem and report by September of 1947, right? The United Nations Special Committee in Palestine issues a report which recommends unanimously, all 11 member states voting in favor, that Great Britain terminate their mandate for Palestine. So this thing was supposed to be submitted by September of 1947. They get it done August 34th of 1947, right? So a day before the deadline. September 17th, Secretary of State, which is obviously with America, George Marshall, in an address to the United Nations, indicates the United States is reluctant to endorse Palestine or the partition of Palestine. So the United States has to act like they don't really want to get involved in this because, it's going to be political problems. They want to stay out of the junk. You know how the whole propaganda junk that America does, when they want to act like they didn't really get involved in a war, but really they did, and they had intentions of doing it the whole time. That's what they were doing all the way back in 1947, making it seem like they were reluctant of taking over this agreement for Palestine. But by September 22nd, Lloyd Henderson, director of the State Department of the Near East Agency, addresses the memorandum to the Secretary of State, George Marshall, in which he argues against the United States advocacy. So a couple days later, Lloyd Henderson is like, nah, we don't need to be going for this, right? So now they're arguing in public, Democrat, Republican type stuff. So October 10th, the Joint Chief of Staff argue in a memorandum entitled, so they're still arguing a month later in October, the problem of Palestine, that the partition of the Palestinian into Jewish and Arab states would enable the Soviet Union to replace the United States and Great Britain in the region, and would endanger the United States' access to the Middle East oil. So this guy isn't mad because the black people were trying out to the Israelites. He's mad because the Soviets could raise up another Hitler who could eventually take control of this land, because these people are actually, German Soviets themselves. They're not actually real Jews. So he's worried about it, because he's like, what if these people decide to just go back to their own people and become friends with the Soviets, right? That means we're going to be screwed. But they end up making the document and the agreement the way it was so that they couldn't go back on their word, which is why Hitler said they were going to blackmail America. That's what they did through way and by way of the Balfour Declaration the second time, after Britain got rid of it and America took it over. So, October 17th, President Truman writes to the Senate, I receive about 35,000 pieces of mail and propaganda from the Jews in this country. While this matter, the issue of the partition of Palestine, which was being considered by the United Nations Special Committee on Palestine, May 13th, 47, August 31st, 47, was pending, I put it all on a pile and stuck it to a match to it. I never looked at the single one of the letters because I felt the United Nations Committee was acting as judicial. Was acting in a judicial capacity and should not be interfered with. So he's trying to say he's lying and telling you he didn't read none of the piece of paper, and he's thinking that it's not that he didn't need to interfere with it. He's on his Donald Trump stuff, right? I'm gonna let Fauci do what he do with the coronavirus, and I'm not gonna interfere with it till he tells me to wear a mask, and I don't want to wear a mask on TV. So this is what Truman was doing, right? Let's move to December. Let me see. All right, yeah. So December 2nd, President Truman writes to former Secretary of Treasury. Y'all don't mind the little note down here. This is, I wrote it in 2017. I was arguing with somebody when I wrote this on Snapchat. So excuse me. But President Truman writes to former Secretary of Treasury Henry, whatever that says, Jr., encouraging him to tell his Jewish friends that it's time for restraint and caution. So Truman has Jewish friends, if you didn't notice by now. This whole thing that he was saying in October and September was a fluke. It was a lie. It was propaganda to make it seem like America was reluctant on taking over this, society of Palestine. But the fact of the matter is, They already knew what was going to happen. They already knew they were going to be able to take it over. He's telling them in December, it's going to happen. Just have restraint until we can make it public, basically, right? December 5th, 47, Secretary of State George Marshall, the same guy who was reluctant about doing this before, announces that the State Department is imposing an embargo on all shipments to the arms of the Middle East. So this white man who was mad and reluctant about us taking over the Middle East just in October, all the way in December, just 2 months later, is putting an embargo on the Middle East so that they can take it over, right? This is the pride of the white man. This is what they do. They'll lie to your face and make it seem like they're not really about something, and then a couple months later, they do exactly what they told you they wasn't about, because that was the plan the whole damn time. December 12th, a couple days later, 1947, President Truman writes to Chaim Weizmann, right? This is the leader of the Jewish Zionist movement, right? Or at this time, president of the Jewish Agency for Palestine, aka president of the white people trying to take over Palestine. And he would become the president to the nation state of Israel once it's no longer Palestine. So the World Zionist Movement and the World Zionist Movement Organization, as we know, was the movement and the organization that did the Suez Canal to separate Africa from Israel, to give white people the claim that they would live in Israel. And after they did this Suez Canal thing, they hire a new president, which was Chaim Weizmann, and he becomes the man to set off the Balfour Declaration and make sure that they actually get to Israel, which is why he was made the first president. So President Truman writes to Weizmann, president of the Jewish Agency for Palestine and the World Zionist Organization, that it is essential that restraint and tolerance be exercised by all parties if a peaceful settlement is to be reached by the Middle East. AKA, don't be over there in the Middle East holding your nuts and, saying how much you bragging about taking their land. Because these Ishmaelites are crazy and they will Allahu Akbar boom your behind. So he's trying to say, if you want this to be peaceful, we're going to have to, show some restraint. Not show the whole world how happy we are that we just stole Israel, right? So, February 4th, 1948. 48 should sound familiar to y'all. Chaim Weizmann, right? President of the Jewish Agency for Palestine and the World Zionist Organization, arrives in New York. February 12th, Secretary to Defense James Forstall says in a meeting to the National Security Council that any serious attempt to implement a partition in Palestine would set in motion events that would result in at least a partial mobilization of the United States Armed Forces, meaning we're going to have to go to war if we do this mess, right? So he's going ahead and letting the Secretary of Defense know this. If we do this mess, they're going to try to fight us for this land. And the Secretary of Defense is like, rally the troops, damn it, because we're going in, okay? So May 13th, 1948, Chaim Weizmann, president of the Jewish Agency for Palestine and the World Zionist Organization, writes to President Truman, I deeply hope that the United States, which is under your leadership, has done so much to find just a solution to Palestine's situation. Meaning, I hope you crackers ain't go back on your word, because if you do, what we gonna do? Blackmail you like Hitler said, right? So he's basically giving you that, that whole mob talk, you know what I'm saying? I hope you're gonna do what the agreement was, yo. You know what I'm saying? He's talking to him like that. So, blah, 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 yeah. Will promptly recognize the provisional government and the new Jewish state, right? So he's saying, I hope y'all ain't give up your word to recognize us as a new Jewish state. The world, I think, would regard it as an especially appropriate that the greatest living democracy should be the first to welcome the newest into the family of nations. So they're saying it only fits if the greatest democracy on the planet right now welcomes the newest democracy on the planet. Not the democracy that's supposed to be returning to its original state, right? Which is what the Jews would have done if they were really moving to Israel, but a new nation state of Israel, which is literally what they said in the damn documents that's right here in your face from the Truman Library itself. So it was no hiding it at this point. They knew they were literally going to come in and steal Israel right between everybody's noses. And the only way they were going to make this steal validated was if the master thieves congratulate them for doing it, right? That's how it goes. So May 14th, 1948, late morning. This was the 13th that he gets this letter. He sends the letter to Truman on the 13th, right? May 14th, late morning, like 1:30 in the morning, a couple of hours after he gets this mob letter from the President Wiseman, right? The king of blackmail, right? Eastern Standard Time, meaning the closest standard time to the Middle East over here in the West, right? David Ben-Gurion, fake Jew, Israel's first prime minister, reads the Declaration of Independence, which proclaims the existence of a Jewish state called Israel. You understand? Beginning on May 15th, 1948 at 12 midnight Palestine time, 6 p.m., right? Eastern Standard Time. They took over Israel at midnight, bruh. Just because the head cracker in charge, Cam Wiseman, decides to send Truman the letter. Hey, it's time. Hope I ain't, switching up on us, because we're ready to go home. Well, to our new home. The home that people think is our old home. You know what I mean. And then 5 hours later, 6 hours later, they have a whole prime minister already who's announcing the declaration of existence of the Jewish state called Israel. Right? So this is the Balfour Declaration. This is how they moved the fake Jews into our land, took it over, and how they still run it to this day. Right from the Harry Truman website, President Truman himself, government agency. So I don't know what more proof you need, white people, that the Jew-ish man is just that, ish man. You understand? So Judah, you can play that video you want to play out. I don't think I got any. Well, actually, I want to play this one, and then we can play that, and then we finish. We'll actually close out on Judah's video. So if anybody got any questions, put them in the chat right now. We're gonna watch this, and we're gonna watch Judah's vid. Let that Edomite talk for a minute. So it's fitting, since they defeat Hitler and they move over to Israel, and America helps them defeat the United Arab Union, and they have Gamal Nasir make his statement saying that you European Jews or white Jews are nothing more but European-speaking Gentiles. You, the real Jews left black and came back white. We cannot accept you. Right? So now let's hear from more of them on the facts of why they can't accept it.
Israel have been based on a total misunderstanding of history.
Oop,
One Israeli.
hold on.
Hello and welcome. Could the founding of Israel have been based on a total misunderstanding of history? One Israeli historian has created huge controversy with his findings that the idea of a single Jewish tribe is wrong, and that much of the justification for the founding of the Jewish state of Israel is actually political.
He said a single Jewish state, meaning any of them Jewish people saying, I'm from the tribe of Levi, you're wrong. Any of them Jewish people saying, I'm from the tribe of Yehudi, you're wrong. You understand what I'm saying? Any of them Jewish people saying, I'm a son of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, you're wrong. It's not based off your race. It's completely religious, is what this man said on television.
When the nation of Israel came into existence in 1948, it was the culmination of centuries of dedication by Jewish nationalists to the idea that their people must return to a land from which they'd been exiled almost 2,000 years earlier. But many modern archaeologists and historians have begun to doubt whether or not this event really happened. Other discoveries are shedding new light on key past events of the Jewish people in the Holy Land and creating some uncomfortable dilemmas for those who live there now. Joining me to discuss this from London, his theories and the controversy he's stirring, is Shlomo Sand, a professor of contemporary history at Tel Aviv University and author of the book The Invention of the Jewish People, which was on the bestseller list in Israel for several months and has recently been translated into English. Professor Sand also teaches...
So y'all wondering why so many Jewish people that don't like to be called Jewish no more? Why so many Jewish people that then became Muslims? I don't know if y'all know about that. It's a whole Jew-ish conversion. They'll tell you how, you can look it up. After this video is over with, y'all go on YouTube and just type in Jewish conversion to Islam. You'll see how they telling you, I was born Jewish, I was raised Catholic, and now I'm Muslim. Like, how the hell you just stealing everything? Right? I was born Catholic, converted to Judaism, and now I'm Muslim. Right? I was born Jewish and stayed Jewish, but I found out I'm not a Jew, so now I'm Muslim. You understand what I'm saying? It's like 50 different videos on YouTube about their conversion, all because of this man's book. If they lived in Israel, they read this man's book, and they found out it was fake. So now they picked up what they found out was real. If you remember what I told y'all a couple of videos ago, right? Islam is their real religion. You feel me? Muhammad was a cracker. The Queen of England right now is Muhammad's 42nd granddaughter. That is the religion that they started, right? Instead of stole. It was stolen by the Ishmaelites because Muhammad wasn't an Ishmaelite. So that's that.
Is at the University of California at Berkeley and the École des Hautes Études en Sciences Sociales in Paris. Professor Sand, thanks very much for coming on the show. It's a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you.
Sir, I have to start off with a quote from your book where you say, or giving the reason why you write it, you say, "I could not have gone on living in Israel without writing this book. I don't think books can change the world, but when the world begins to change, it searches for different books." Considering what you've written in this book, you can't be very popular among many Israelis right now, and I wonder what difference you think you're going to make putting these views forward. What difference will it make to the situation in Israel?
As I said, I am not sure that books can change the world. But, you know, with this conflict, without ending this conflict, I have a pessimist position. But I thought that it's very important to say something about myth that gives birth to the Israeli state and why this myth that helped to create Israel, this same myth can destroy Israel. You see, this ethnic myth. And this is a part of my book. Provocation, I meant it. I think that the Jewish people was abducted. I think that in the second half of the 19th century, the Jewish people were abducted.
Now, you have drawn on all sorts of evidence to show.
The reason he says second half of the 19th century is because there's proof that you can find out there. A professor from London put it out a couple years ago. It proved that the word Jew was a word that white people made in like the 1700s, the late 1700s. So when the Zionist movement started and they were in Europe, they started calling themselves Jews, right? Because there was an excerpt that came out where they were trying to find out what Jesus called himself. They said that he would have called himself a Judean, right? Not a Jew, but a Judean. So they decided to call themselves Jews, as if to make like an offshoot of the Judean, right? And then once people started recognizing Jew as the Israelite term and stopped using Israelite but started using Jew, they started calling themselves JewISH, because they always wanted you to know that they weren't the real people, but that they were going to steal the crap anyway. Again, the pride of the white man.
Of course, the things which most of us took for granted as having had happened, even if they did not justify the foundation of the state of Israel 2,000 years later, actually never happened at all. Tell us about some of that.
Which is why they didn't have to justify it, right? Because it never actually happened at all, and they didn't care because they was going to steal it anyway.
To take, for example, the exile. See, the exile is so important to the Jewish history. Everybody knows that the Jewish were exiled 2,000 years ago. But, you know, when I started to work about it, I was surprised not to find even one book, one research book about the exile.
So look, what he's trying to say, if y'all didn't catch what he just said, he's saying, you know how white people write books about everything, right? Columbus brought paper on the ship with him so that they could write about the Israelites that they saw when they got off the ship, right? All the explorers that came after Amerigo Vespucci, they came and wrote down stuff that they saw about the Israelites that were here when they got off the ship. The Dutch and the people from Denmark that was coming, the slavers to West Africa in the 1500s, they wrote the Tariq al-Fatash to literally write about the Israelites in West Africa that they saw when they got off the ship, right? So Esau write about everything. They write about captivity, they write about slavery, they write about themselves, they write about other people. They put everything in the book, right? This white man saying, why isn't there a damn book in Israel about the Israelis going into exile or the Israelis going to exile? Like, like into exile. Why don't we have a book in Israel about any of our people being exiled from Israel? Because all the books that state anybody was exiled talks about black people being exiled, and they don't fit none of those descriptions. So they can't put none of those books in their libraries in Israel. He found this out, realized it, and that's what made him go search and do his research. And he found out we still don't have no damn books on exile because we wasn't the ones exiled. We don't have no connection to those ties. So we obviously can't be the people. That means everything that we've been saying about ourselves is made up. And that's what he's telling you.
The exile of the Jew in the beginning of our time didn't happen. Now, it shocked a lot of people. It shocked myself when I started to work about it. But the Jewish were never exiled from Palestine. I was talking about the myth of the exile in the beginning of the area.
Indeed, that's my point. That if the Jewish people were not exiled from Palestine, then even their tendentious claim of that exile to justify a return, a right of return, thousands of years later, is necessarily invalid.
Mm-hmm. That's right. So the Jews are Israelites, man. The people who were scattered and took, kicked out that land, would be Bantus. Bantus are the people in West Africa. That's the name for basically all of it. All the Israelites from West Africa. Y'all niggas Bantus. So that's what it is, right? And they know that the Bantus are the people that these people are trying to be, because the Bantus would have been the name given to the Sephardis after they were no longer the Sephardis, right? Or the Sephardic Jews. The Sephardis became Bantus, right? Bantus became Ashanti, Igbo, and all these other groups. You feel what I'm saying? Zulu, whatever. So these people are the Israelites in West Africa, the Southern Kingdom, right? These people are the people who the Jewish man is trying to become. The reason why they only claim to be the Southern Kingdom is because the only people that they learned from was the Southern Kingdom. Therefore, the only people whose identities they could have stole was the people that they learned from. The Radhanite Jews were Southern Kingdom, right? The Radhanite Jews made up Judah, Benjamin, Levi. Who did they claim to be? After they heard about Moses, everybody wanted to be a Levite. He didn't want to get in the law. But then they have Judah too. Most of them don't believe in the Mashiach Yahushua, but the people that they were coming into contact with, many of them were from the tribe of Judah. So hence they know Judah, Levi. Many of them don't claim Benjamin that much. Benjamin is not on the radar. You understand what I'm saying? So, Hasu Pepper, Hasu people, all those people, man. So that's all I wanted to play from that, though.
Come on.
Your video, and we could be up out of here because I see nobody put no questions in the chat.
Come on, let's see here.
Y'all, hope it was edifying. This was the Balfour Declaration. More proof that you could put in the pudding for the crackers that don't like to eat it. You know what I'm saying? You could just shove it in their face next time.
That's right.
You know about knights with fringes in the museum? I know knights used to wear fringes. I don't know what museum they in, though. Because knights used to be us. We used to be the knights. Oh, boy, that scared me because I was like, what Esau about to do right now? I was like, what in the world? All right.
So we're going to watch a few minutes of this. He's going to say what he's going to say, but he says a couple things that is sad on our part. But since we started with white people. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know if you could find a video. I ain't never seen a video of knights with fringes, but I know, if I'm not tripping, there's some statue or some slave yard of statues somewhere in America. It might be it's probably in Texas, if I'm not tripping. You can Google the slave yard in Texas of statues, and you'll actually see statues of black slave knights, black slave maid women. They all got fringes on to prove that we the Israelites. It's a whole slave yard of statues. They got their fringes and stuff like that. Women got on head wraps and dresses. The men got on fringes and garments. They gatekeepers and stuff like that. You know, Esau know who we are. I just can't remember what it was called. but I know they in Texas. They're it's either in Georgia or Texas, and it's a they're a bunch of statues.
Like this?
No, like that's an actual night. I'm talking about this was a statue. Like,
oh, come.
Like they real people. Like
I seen that what you talking about too, and I can't remember.
Yep, I found it. I'll show them when you finish.
I'm glad.
Okay. Oh wow, that's bull. Hold on, I clicked on it and they did me dirty. All right, I'll just show you this. All right, it's gonna be hard to see, but y'all can look it up yourself. All right, it's called Freedman Cemetery in Dallas, Texas. So you look up the images from Freedman Cemetery. You see the knight right there. He got fringes on. He got the sword. You got the sister here with the head wrap and the dress. And when you go inside, you get to see slave statues, and they all look like Israelites. So these are the Freedman Cemetery in Dallas, Texas. Hence the name Freedman, because the truth shall set you free, right? And they got on Israelite garments and attire, because that's the truth. We the Israelites. All right, carry on. All right. Yep, Dallas, Texas. Freedman Cemetery, Dallas, Texas.
So yeah, I mean, since we started with some white people or heathens saying that we the Israelites or we the true Jews or whatnot, we're gonna end with one. But some of the stuff this man said was kind of sad. So it's at like the 6-minute mark. But I'm gonna just play real quick, and y'all let me know when y'all can see my screen. Give me 1 second.
Don't be scared of this guy, y'all. He look like the pedophile president, but
and he kind of prideful when he speaks, like he's
like
really
like he finna get into the kingdom for telling us this mess.
Right. That's my thing. It's killing me. But all right, do y'all see my screen?
He looked like that dude that killed George Floyd.
Oh man, he do. That's wild. You can see my screen?
Yep.
All right, come on, here you go. I'm just gonna play it.
Hello out there to everyone viewing this video. My name is Brother Dana Stevens, and I'm coming to you and going to say some of the same words that I used in a video I created a little over a year ago, that by the time this video is over with, many of my white family and church family once again will reject me and dislike me. But I need to put this out there and put this out there right now. The white Jews that you and I have honored and been taught all these years are God's chosen people is an absolute lie. They are imposters. They are fake. They are descendants of the Romans that rose up into power in between the New Testament and the Old Testament that we as Christians believe was the Dark Ages, but God was speaking. But as they rose to power, they did exactly what Deuteronomy chapter 28 said would be done out of the very mouth of our God, when he said that my people will be taken from a land and stripped of their name.
Hold on, what happened? Can you see my screen? I don't know. Hold on. You're on mute,
Okay, it's back now.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Hold on.
I ain't mute myself either. How that happen?
I don't know.
I doom you.
All right, here you go.
Would be done out of the very mouth of our God, when he said that my people will be taken from a land and stripped of their name, their identity, their culture, and everything about them, and brought to a land where they will be enslaved, and where they will be beaten, where they will fear the terror of their master day and night. And one of those verses in Deuteronomy chapter 28 says that even that nation will hover over them like that of an eagle. And so with that basis of that understanding, I am telling to you, my white brothers.
Pause right quick. And yeah, y'all, he do like his breakdowns. He says some stuff that's in, but then he mix it with some stuff that don't really say that. But you're going to get the gist of what he's saying, hopefully. Maybe. Go ahead.
I've been duped all these years. We have been duped to believe that our black family members are low life.
He kills me with his brothers and sisters and family stuff. I'm sorry.
Yeah, brothers and sisters, we all family members. You know, he just finished listening to We Are the World before he came on and watched it.
Created to be slaves and nothing more than that. But the truth is the absolute opposite. They are the chosen of God. They are the chosen of Yah. And God, even the God that we say we call upon in Christianity, is coming back to redeem his people. And it makes it very clear that the nation that held his people slavery are going to fall, much like Pharaoh fell when he refused to let God's chosen people go. And I know you're going to doubt me and say, prove it. But my question is this: how much proof do you and I have on the things that you and I believe that we've been taught? I've never done research. So read The International Jew, which was written by Henry Ford, who built so-called You're in My Car, that back in the 1920s and 30s, he spent millions of dollars, 2 or 3, to do research and found out that the Jews that we serve today are fake Jews, and the relationship between our government and those Jews is based off of wealth, not
okay,
that.
very quick. All right, so yeah, to be fair, Judah sent me this earlier, and the man was so powerful that I didn't finish watching it. But I see that he mentioned a book that somebody mentioned in the comments that I never heard of before, International Jew. So now I gotta go get the book. All right, go ahead.
Chosen people. That is the facade for us to tie with the enemy, while the real chosen people that we have enslaved are stripped of their identity.
I know who he is. I know who he is. I know who he is, bro. That's DDP.
Who this dude?
DDP, bro. Y'all remember DDP from WWF?
Dallas Page.
Yeah, don't he look like Diamond Dallas Page, bro?
Yo, y'all cool.
Oh, man.
Yo, but nah, for real though, he's annoying, but I'm gonna keep going. But he's annoying as hell. We only got like 3 more minutes.
You gonna pick 6 minutes of this devil, bro?
Yeah, 3 more minutes, and then this is the part I want. It's almost over. He's annoying as hell though.
And so, white America, I want you to know that that which took place in Egypt under the reign of Pharaoh when he refused to let his people go is exactly what's going to happen to America when we in the white church refuse to acknowledge and let Yah's people go. And it doesn't matter if you believe this right now and right here, but time is coming, just like it did for the Egyptians who laughed. And so we have a lot of forgiveness to do in the white church. And this is why I know we do, because there's no way we love and honor our black brothers and sisters in this country outside of the knowledge that they are God's chosen people as equal as we do the Jews. And I even was kicked out of a church, and I was literally kicked out of a church of a black pastor because he said that I'm preaching a black Jesus and that I am bringing in separation and that I should not focus. Even as us as whites now, we're going to say we shouldn't focus.
This is the part that I wanted to
You said a black man told him not to focus on black Jesus?
A black pastor kicked him out of a church and saying that he was preaching division and that he shouldn't focus on a black Jesus.
I bet it was T.D. Jakes.
Now, Lord have mercy.
Probably the same episode where he called the white man a Gentile.
Right.
He stood up and was like, "No, you're actually Israelite." He was like, "Kick him out."
So this is what's crazy, because this is your the guy he's talking about, the pastor he's talking about. These are your modern day Stephen A. Smiths, the people who try to clean up the mess that the awakened black folks have made by telling the truth. You know what I'm saying? This is the exact meaning of how the slave master put a yoke of iron on our neck until we have been destroyed. Because this is crazy. Like, that's ridiculous. He went to a black church and tried to tell the black people that they're the chosen people. And the black church kicked him out. Because they worship white Jesus. And they didn't want, that's crazy. Right?
But, it is, right? I don't even know what to say about that.
Right? So that's the part that I really wanted to get. He's so powerful. He's annoying. And, you know, you don't even want to get, it's 14 minutes long. We're not going to do that. But I'm going to get this precept, you know, that really goes with the class that you brought out. And can you give me Jeremiah 16 and 19?
That's how we're going to close it out?
Let's do it like that.
Let's get it.
When you got it, you can go ahead and bring it out.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 16, verse 19. O Yahweh, my strength and my fortress and my refuge in the day of affliction. The Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth and shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity, and things wherein there is no profit.
That's the face they're going to make too. Trying to tell you, boy, it's going to be bad.
Yeah, but that's what's going on right now. That's exactly what's going on. You see all these Edomites, they trying to cleave. And that dude that we just saw, like, when I tell you, I feel like he really, really, really believes, like, he's doing the true Israelites a favor.
He really believe it's still 2000 with that Backstreet Boy haircut he had, boy.
Yo.
I say it. Man, bro.
Yo, but
I would have kicked him out of the church too. Bye, bye, bye.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's all I want.
Man, I can't take it. I'm sorry,
He had that Ryan secret. Yeah, he had the Ryan secret.
Oh, I hate the devil, boy. Yeah. Gotta try to bring some humor, man, because Esau will make you want to kill somebody, bro. They stole your last name, y'all. Most of y'all didn't know that. It wasn't just the land. It wasn't just your identity.
That's what I was thinking. Don't take this, bro. That's what I was thinking. He was a sodomite and proud as I don't know what.
That's another thing, though. Why he still sound like a man, even though he was a sodomite? Why, if it was Jake, it wouldn't be no discrepancy? Wouldn't he gay?
Right.
Because Jake would have sounded all nasal and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Speaking from his nose and man, somebody who's most wanted. Yeah. Yeah, man. So I mean,
Shalom.
Hey, bro. Basically, man, that's it, yo. I don't even have nothing else to say. Like, I don't have nothing else to say. I wanted to end that on another video, but I'm tired of watching videos of them telling us the truth when they lied about everything. So, yeah, man. Oh, I said I was gonna show y'all the videos, right? So let me do that right before we get up out of here, so y'all know where y'all could go look up this stuff at. Okay. Let me exit these. All right. So the first video, you ever got an Israeli that you need to check? You don't want to check him yourself because he's gonna call you anti-Semite and call the Southern Poverty Law Center on you and stuff. This is Israeli confess. Salaki. Israeli confesses Black Americans are the real Jews. All right. It was put out October 4th, 2014. Hasn't been deleted yet. 337,000 people saw it. Okay. So that's that. What else we got? Where are the Khazars now? This one, history answer. Where are the Khazars now? The channel is Victor Historia. All right. Shout out to Issachar. So that's that. Victor Historia, where the Khazars now, where he tells you about how they converted to Judaism and all of that type of stuff. And there's another big one that y'all need. This one right here. The Balfour Declaration. Hold on.
The gathering is.
I don't want to hear that. All right. The Balfour Declaration joint that it was talking about is literally 2 minutes and 52 seconds, right, of him explaining the Balfour Declaration. He explains all that stuff perfectly in a couple minutes. It's on the Al Jazeera English channel. Al Jazeera, if you ever want some real news, non-biased, want to know what's going on in the world, that's the place to look. So those are 3 videos that'll be good for you. If you want information on the Khazars, you could just here. Khazars. Edomites. And you get all this information, right? This white guy right here tells you about how the Jews got their name and where they made up the term Jew from and all that stuff in the 1700s. This gives you a little bit of history on the early Khazar Empire. It's going to tell you a little bit about how they fought the Arabs, but it won't tell you about their conversion until part 2. There's another video. I ain't see this one, but it says Israelis are Edomites, aka Khazars. It's a brother showing it, the same brother from the other video, Hebrew Israelite Yakanan. So I'm assuming he probably got some pretty good stuff. IUIC did something. So I mean, it's a couple videos you can find, man. IUIC got a whole 3-hour and 33-minute video on the rise and fall of Edom. So yeah, man, brothers doing the work out here. You know what I'm saying? Here's that Arthur Kessler 13 Tribe book. Brother did a whole, GMS UK did a whole breakdown on it. So it's, it's a lot of information out here you can find. And there's that same channel that I gave y'all when I was doing the breakdown for 70 AD that I showed.
London to mark the centenary.
The breakdown for 70 AD that I showed from it was called History Nights, something like that. I gotta look it up now. But those people basically had a pretty good video as well. It's real dope. It's about 2-3 hours long, or maybe 1 hour and 30 minutes, something like that. But it gives you the full history of the Khazarian Empire. So, and one of the videos, I'm trying to find it. There you go. Khazarian, let me see if it's this one. All right. Yeah, okay. So kings and generals. There's a video. Here, let me show you these. This will be it. We'll get up out of here after this. So Khazarian history of the Jewish Turkic nomads, right? You can watch this video. It's 20 minutes long. He'll tell you about the Radhanite Jews a little bit, not a whole lot, but he'll tell you about how they basically taught the Kagan about Judaism, and that's what made them convert. They'll tell you about how the Turks and the Khazars and the fake Jews are all the same people. How they, took over Byzantine Empire, all that stuff in 20 minutes. So pretty good information you can write down for that. There's another hour-long video. I think it's probably this one. Yeah. Who is King Bulan of Khazaria? If you watch this one, right, by Henry Abrahamson, he's a fake Jew that's going to go through and tell you the whole thing. He's going to speak as if it's okay for the Khazarians to be fake Jews because he's a Khazarian himself. But, he's going to explain it in depth about how they converted and all that type of stuff. In his second video, which was made first, the Jewish Kingdom of Khazaria, he explains a little bit of it, but he really goes in depth in this one, and it's a shorter video. Well, it's a little bit longer video. So I would watch this one, Who was King Bulan of Khazaria, and this one, Khazar's History to Jewish Turkic Nomads, if you want to learn some history on the Khazars to put you up on game so that you could go against any Jewish person and you'll be able to cut them down with their own history. All right. So that's that. Without further ado, hope this was edifying lesson to y'all. Kept y'all 48 minutes longer than I wanted to, but hope it was edifying anyway. Y'all brothers got anything else to say?
Nah.
All right, cool. So yeah. Let me make sure there were no more questions.
Oh, Esau can't get away though.
Esau's never gonna get away, bro. So how you gonna get away, Esau? We done told everybody who you are now. Can't call yourself white. Can't call yourself Jewish. All you can call yourself is because that's what you are. So the water. All right, so that's it, man. I'm brother. Are you all?
Soldier Raya.
We are the sons of the Israelites. It is our hope and prayer and desire to the Most High God that all Israel might be saved. No cleaving Edomites, Ishmaelites, Moabites, Ammonites, anybody else allowed. This is for Israel and Israel only. If you don't like it, understand it, believe it, bye-bye. Bye. Yeah. Shalom.